Hello everyone, my name is Harish Amati. Welcome to Sarat Chandra CLAT and Inter Colleges. Today, UG CLAT exam was conducted. I hope you have written well. So do not worry. Anyway, we are going to discuss full CLAT paper for today, including detailed explanations. So let us start from English. I will be handing over to Lakshmi Madam. We will discuss entire paper section wise. Thank you.
Hello guys, hope everyone are happy with the paper and happy with the result. The way you answered, I hope the art paper is very easy when compared to the logical and reasoning. I know you guys felt it like a little difficult, moderate to difficult, not very difficult. But when we compare that with logical, English is damn easy. English is very easy. So let's just cross check how far we are good at with that and how far we made our answers correct, accurate. We answered it in a very accurate way. Just have a glance and look into that. And let's just go through the paper once. Yes. So here's our English language. This is the first passage. It almost the adaptation of the non-cooperation movement. The first line itself gives a clarity of a little clarity, not too much. When we go deep into the passage, we'll get more understanding on how exactly, what kind of passage is it, what kind of information the author is trying to convey to us, and exactly what the information is provided to us. But by basing on this first statement, we can get to know it is all about non-cooperation movement and few things which were happened over there, Gandhiji's vision, what he has done, and what happened in that situation among that time. So Congress gave it a new energy, and from Jan 1921, it began to register considerable success all over the country. Gandhiji undertook a nationwide tour during which he addressed hundreds of meetings and met a large number of political workers. So here we need to notice he met large number of political workers. But why a person like Gandhiji meeting so many people, meeting political workers, means to do something, right? To unite people, to share his ideology. So here we can assume one concept which might relate it to our questions down. In the first month, thousands of students left their educational institutions and joined more than 800 national schools and colleges that had sprung up all over the country. Gandhiji had promised Swaraj within a year if his program was adopted. So his main motto to meet these political workers was to bring Swaraj within 1 year. So that word connects to this. And next, the non-cooperation movement demonstrated that it commanded the support and sympathy. So here we can see the word commanded the support and sympathy of vast sections of Indian people. This is one such a line which gives more clarity on what it exactly is dealing with, this passage is dealing with, and where we need to focus. We need to focus on what he has done, that man, Gandhiji, support and sympathy of vast sections of Indian people. Why he is reaching to many people? Why he is meeting many people? To get the support, to get the sympathy of vast sections. What do you mean by vast sections? With different community, different people with different ideology. And the spatial spread of the movement was also nationwide. Some areas were more active than others. So he started communicating with people, he started bringing them together, and through this Swaraj, he started spreading his ideology or vision of unity, coming together, communal unity. So it all refers to that one word called communal unity. So this passage, this para is all about that. And then the capacity of poor dumb millions. What do you mean by poor dumb millions? It's just nothing but weaker section of people who are uneducated coming together, communal unity. People are coming together no matter what, whether they are educated or not, just by the awareness or just by the meetings conducted by that man, the way he is approaching, the way he is communicating with people creates one awareness in them which leads to this word poor dumb millions, which is nothing but though they are uneducated, people are coming together, joining their hands for one moment called Swaraj. And then the tremendous participation of different communities. Here we need to focus on this. Different communities, participation tremendous. Means, what do you mean by that? The line is explained more here, movement and the maintenance of communal unity. So whatever we have learned in the first two paragraphs have given a more meaningful message to this word, communal unity. What all he tried was bring people together, unite them together. So let's have a look into our questions. From the passage, it is evident that. What is evident from the passage? What was evident? The idea of Swaraj seemed fertile? No. The non-cooperation movement was a complete success? No. The non-cooperation movement gained the sympathy of majority of the Indians? Let's have a check. The Indian National Congress represented microscopic minority? Or maybe, let's have a check then. What would be the right option according to this? I guess it's C, but let's have a check over it. Yes, it's C. Why? The passage repeatedly states that. Why it is? Because we already discussed commended, support, vast section of people involving. This is where I highlighted, this is where I asked you to focus more. So what would be the right option? C. Why? Because the main motto of this is to bring people together for one such region. What is that? Swaraj. And he also said, I promise within 1 year I'm going to do this. Through this program. Through which program? Through this, going and talking to people, coming, uniting them, bringing awareness in them. And that's what here. And then, the term poor dumb millions. I asked you to highlight this, right? So the vast number of common people who are improvised. What would be the term? What do you mean by this term? What is the meaning of this? The vast number of people, the vast number of common people who are improvised, no. Large number of common people who are hearing impaired, not at all. The large number of people who are vulnerable, no. The vast number of people who are impoverished and uneducated. Answer D would be the right option. Let's check why that would be the right option. Poor dumb millions in historical context refers to economically weaker section. In the whole option, in the whole passage, whatever we have learned, many people are coming no matter what they are from, which background they are from, whether they are educated or not. So this all states to that. And dumb means not literally mute. They are not like, but politically voiceless or uneducated. Means who doesn't have any knowledge on what is going on, exactly what's happening in and around the country. People from poor background, people from rural areas, very those who have those who don't have any idea of exactly what is going on in the country, like that. And which of the statements is true? Let's check what is the exact statement according to the passage would be a right answer. The Swaraj movement happened before the non-cooperation movement. Okay, the non-cooperation movement failed due to sudden withdrawal. Okay, maybe let's check. There was a fine show of communal unity in the movement. We heard this word communal unity in the passage. So can we correlate with this? Okay, let's check. The rich and the educated kept themselves away from the non-cooperation movement. What can be the right option? Communal unity, C or D? Let's have a look. And or what could be the right option? Yes, C. Communal unity. Why? Because we already discussed participation of different communities and maintenance of communal unity. I asked you to focus on that word or that line in that paragraph. So because of that means it is mostly discussing on how these unities bring together in different communities, in different sectors of people. That's what it's about. And then the main idea of the passage. Exactly what is the main ideology of this passage? Why the author is trying to convey this to her? Or why are we going through this? What would be the main motto behind that? So the non-cooperation movement did not give impetus to the future movements. The movement made the Indians realize their potential to fight against the mighty British. B could be a right option, but let's check the others. The British become fearful and worried of Gandhiji's leadership and cooperation of Indians. That the most positive feature of the movement was that it was repeated in later years. I don't think so. So let's check what would be the right answer. B could be the right answer according to the passage. Let's have a check. Because the central main theme or the motto of the passage would be B. So let's check why if it is. The central theme is that the non-cooperation movement mobilized large masses. So option B would be right answer because united various communities, satisfied, showed Indians their collective political strength. Yeah, there are many miscommunications, misleading guidance everywhere, but that one movement brought all the Indians together. So that is the reason, created national awakening. Of course, there are many people who don't have awareness exactly what's going on. So they were falling into the trap created by the British people on those days. So this could be a right option. The word communalism in the above passage refers to exactly what do you mean by communalism? It means religious identity, caste identity, regional identity, or secularism. We all know what do you mean by communalism. Communal unity, we heard the word in the passage. So according to me, religious identity could be the right answer, but few people might get confused with caste identity. Both can be a right answer. Let us check exactly what would be the right answer. According to me, it's religious identity, option A. Yes. Why? In Indian freedom movement context, communalism refers to conflicts or divisions on religious lines. Everyone, most of the Indians know and aware of this word communalism, because day-to-day life, everyone come across this word in a daily life basis. So it's all about, passage talks about communal unity and minority participation. And in politics or elections, everywhere we knew about this concept and we are aware of this. So according to that, option A would be the right answer. Yes. So we are done with passage 1. And most of the answers are directed from the passage. Most of the answers are there itself in the passage. So that's very easy to answer, right? So let's check passage 2. So what is all about passage 2? There were humans long before there was history. So this line gives one little clarity. It's talking about humans. Okay, long before history, maybe related to the prehistoric era or the past life of how the humans emerge, evolution happened, maybe related to that. Let's go deep into that. The archaic humans loved, played, formed close friendships and competed for status and power, but so did chimpanzees, baboons and elephants. So is the author comparing us with the animals? Maybe let's check. There was nothing special about them. So there is no much speciality in humans and those animals in those days, according to him. So let's have a look. Nobody, least of all humans themselves, had any inkling that their descendants, focus on the word, would one day walk on the moon, split the atom, fathom the genetic code, and write history books. Focus on this line. One day walk on the moon, split the atom, fathom the genetic code, and write history books. And there were humans long before there was history. Before there was history, there was humans long before. So what it exactly means. And the most important thing to know about prehistoric humans, is that they were incognizant animals with no more impact on their environment than gorillas. So is he comparing us with the animals, or the behavior or the nature of the animals? Are we the same or are we the different? If we are different, like how we are different? And then biologists classify organisms into species, like how this classification has made and how we humans evolve. On what basis humans got separated from animals, though we are from the animal kingdom? What exactly happened? This passage is dealing with us. So here there were few hints for us to identify exactly what this passage is. See, same species, classification, tend to mate each other, giving birth to fertile offspring. Fertile offspring is one such word where we need to focus more. And horses and donkeys have a recent common ancestor and share many physical traits. So when we come down, mutations is in donkey, DNA can therefore never cross over to horses or vice versa. The two types of animals are consequently considered two distinct species, moving along separate evolutionary paths. And by contrast, a bulldog and a spaniel may look very different, but they are members of the same species. Remember, they are members of the same species. It's quoted as sharing the same DNA pool. Let's have a look into the questions, what exactly it refers to us. Which of the following can be inferred as the most significant characteristic of prehistoric humans as per the passage. We heard this word prehistoric humans as per this passage. According to the passage, what would be the most inferred significant characteristic? Their conscious effort to alter and shape their environment? No, not at all. Because they mentioned they compared us with the animals in the first para. Their complex social organization and clear hierarchical structures that set them apart from other species. Let's have a look. Their evolutionary divergence was marked by warfare and dominance? Not at all. Their inability to distinguish themselves from other species in terms of environmental impact? No, not an option. Let's assume option B can be a right answer and have a look into that exactly why it is. Oh, option D. Then let's have a check. Their inability to distinguish themselves from other species in terms of environmental impact. So if we consider option D as a right answer, and if we consider option B as a right answer, the complex social organization and clear hierarchical structures. But in the passage it was stated they have a mating in between themselves, same species. Then how can the hierarchical structure be clear if they mate in between the same species? So according to that, this would be a wrong answer. Their inability to distinguish themselves from other species. How? In terms of environmental impact. As we discussed, it was clearly mentioned in the passage. So this could be a right answer. Like how? The most important thing to know about prehistoric humans is that they were incognizant animals with no more impact on their environment than gorillas, fireflies or jellyfish. So this line itself gives us the statement. This directly supports prehistoric humans do not stand out and had no special environmental impact. So option B is incorrect because the passage says they were not unique. Similar to chimpanzees, baboons, elephants. So that would be the reason. In the context of the passage, the term incognizant most likely means what exactly? So in the context of the passage, according to the passage, what could be the most likely answer? So let's have a look into that. Option D. The word is used in the sentence describing their impact, incognizant animals with no more impact on their environment. Here, incognizant means unaware or indifferent or are not consciously affecting their environment. So option D fits best. Disinterested in the environment, okay, but there could be a chance of being unaware of the future potential, maybe, or lacking in the exact meaning would be lacking intelligence. But according to the passage, if we consider, this could be a right option, option D. And in the context of the passage, the term incognizant, most likely we are done with this. And then, which of the following best explains why humans did not initially stand out among other organisms? They had fewer offspring than other species. Now, their behaviors were not unique compared to other animals. Let's have a look. They did not yet evolve the ability to use tools. They lacked the genetic capacity to develop language. No. So what could be the answer? B. See, it was clearly stated in the passage why the archaic humans loved, played, competed, but so did chimpanzees, baboons and elephants. There was nothing special about them. This means early humans behaved like animals. So option B could be an answer due to this reason. According to the passage, what determines whether two animals belong to the same species? We heard this word many times in the passage, same species. Their ability to produce fertile offspring? Yes. Their physical appearance and size? No. Their shared evolutionary ancestor? Not at all. Their capacity to adapt to the environment? Let's have a look. I'm not sure. So their ability to produce fertile offspring could be a right option, but why if it is? If it is not, why not? Let's have a deeper look into it. Yes. What is the option? Option A. Why? Animals are said to belong to the same species if they tend to mate with each other. In the second paragraph, we have heard about this. Giving birth to fertile offspring. So, according to that statement in the passage directly which was given, option A would be the right option. The passage explains the concept of species classification by what? On what basis this concept is explained? Highlighting behavioral differences between species? Okay. Focusing on the DNA pool they share. This line was given in the passage. Let us get time being fixed to this, maybe or may not. Contrasting horses and bulldogs with donkeys and spaniels to explain reproductive compatibility. Let's go. Discussing environmental impact of species. No. So let's have a deeper look into exactly what could be the right answer, B or C. A could never be an answer. So either B or C. Let's have a deeper look. So option C or B depending on the examiner's point of view. Yes, that's true. So the passage uses examples. Horses plus donkeys produce sterile mules, different species. Bulldog plus spaniel, fertile offspring, same species. This is a contrast-based explanation and it relates to reproductive compatibility. Option B is partially true, same DNA pool, but the primary teaching tool is used is contrast of reproductive outcomes, not DNA science. The C is the best fit answer. Maybe. So here you're done with two passages. One related to Swaraj by Gandhiji and the other related to human evolution and all the biological concept. So what could be the third? What concept would we be introduced through this? Maybe let's have a deeper look. In 1973, only 45 of the world's 151 countries were connected as free by Freedom House. So it's dealing with freedom, one thing. A non-governmental organization that produces quantitative measures of civil and political rights for countries around the world. Yes, the following generation saw momentous political change. That's right. It's been a vast variation from past to now. With democracies and market-oriented economies spreading in virtually every part of the world except for the Arab Middle East. Have we ever seen any change in the Arab Middle East? Not at all. So this line explains more exactly what is in this passage. Note down that. And this transformation was Samuel Huntington's third wave of democratization. Liberally, democracy as the default form of government became part of the accepted political landscape at the beginning. Underlying these changes in political systems was a massive social transformation as well. So this passage discussing about democracy, freedom and transformation drastic change which we have observed from past to now in the modern days, but except in the Arab Middle East nations. And then it also discusses mostly the shift to democracy was a result of millions participating in the political life of their societies. This social mobilization was driven by a host of factors, greatly expanded access to education that made people more aware of themselves and the world around them. Information technology which facilitated the rapid spread of ideas and knowledge. Cheap travel and communications that allowed people to vote with their feet. Underline the word with their feet if they didn't like their government. So why? Knowledge, cheaper travel and communication that allowed people to vote with their feet if they didn't like their government, and generate prosperity which induced people to demand better protection of their rights. It's a basic right, right? Yes. The third wave crested after the late 90s, however, and a democratic recession emerged in the first decade of the 21st century. Approximately 1 in 5 countries that had been part of the third wave either reverted to authoritarianism or experienced the erosion of democratic institutions. Freedom House. Jot down this. Freedom House noted that 2019 marked the fourth consecutive, not the first one, fourth consecutive year in which freedom had declined. So it was a fourth consecutive year in which freedom had declined. So it was not the first consecutive year. In fourth consecutive year, freedom had declined around the world. The first time this had happened. So this was happened first time in 4th consecutive year, which means not in 2009. So in 2009 would be the 4th consecutive year. So then the third would be 2007, at 2008, and second would be 2007. The first one would be 2006. So let's assume in that way. This had happened since it established its measures of freedom in 1937. So let's go have a look into the questions. Which of the following aspects is most critical in understanding Freedom House's evaluation process? The methodology by which it quantifies the relative freedoms in different political systems. Okay. It emphasizes on electoral participation and voter turnout. Okay. Its role in advising governments on democratic reforms, maybe. It focuses on economic disparities. No, let's have a look. So option A, Freedom House is introduced as an organization that produces quantitative measures of civil and political rights. Thus, it is methodology of quantification in center. It was clearly stated in our passage in the first paragraph, in the first 2 lines. So, a direct answer from our passage. What does the phrase vote with their feet imply in the context of the passage? So, engaging in electoral processes, okay, demonstrating political preferences through protest, okay, let's have a look. I'm not sure. Migrating to countries with better governance or conditions, could be. Participating in local government initiatives, not at all. So option C could be a better right answer. Let's have a deeper look, and why? Because do we remember it? We already have gone through about that word, vote with their feet, in the passage. The phrases appears with cheap travel and communications. We heard traveling to another place, cheaper rate, and voting other government, meaning people can physically move away from bad governance. Standard meaning, express disapproval by migrating. So option C could be an appropriate answer. The term third wave of democratization refers to what? Rise of communism in Eastern Europe, the spread of democracy and market-oriented economics. We heard this directly from the passage, if I'm not wrong. So B could be a right option, but let's go deep. Decline of authoritarian regimes in the 1960s. No. Global movement for civil rights? Not at all. According to this could be right option. B, let's have a look. Yes. Democracies and market-oriented economy spreading. This transformation was Samuel Huntington's third wave of democratization. So according to this is an exact answer, which was direct answer from the passage itself. Which of the following was not mentioned as a factor of contributing to social mobilization and the shift of democracy? Increased access to education, expanding information technology, okay, heightened global military presence, no, greater prosperity. A could be right. It was exact. It was correct. But according to this question, option C would be a right answer. Let's have a look. Yes. Passage mentions access to education, information technology. It was clear. Cheaper travel, that was clear. Greater prosperity, that exactly what they are discussing in the passage. It never mentions military presence. So option C could be a right answer. It's exactly an answer. According to this passage, when was the first time freedom had declined around the world? According to the passage, what was the time where freedom had declined? We discussed this. Passage states 1937. No, it is when it started. So that can never be happened. 1990, not a case. 2006 or 2008. Among these two, anyone could be a right answer. According to passage, we heard 2009. There is a 4th consecutive year where the first time freedom had declined, 4th consecutive. So it might be a misleading case where we can assume 2009 also an answer, but when we heard the word 4th consecutive, 2006 could be an answer. Let's have a check what could be a better answer. So answer C, 2006. Why? Because according to the message, 2009 was the 4th consecutive. We discussed that. In which freedom had declined? Yes. So basing on that, the first time freedom had declined around the world would be 2006. Thus, answer would be 2006. Passage doesn't specify any other specific year in which freedom has declined, so we can consider 2006 would be a proper answer for this. Next, what was that? It was a beautiful passage where it was given by Rabindranath Tagore. My kinsman and I were turning to Calcutta from our puja trip, and when we encountered an unusual man on the train. At first, judging from his dress and bearing, we mistook him for an up-country boorish man. Please do note down the word boorish man. And we, judging from his dress and bearing, it reminds me of never judge a book by its cover. So it reminds me of that. But as soon as he began to speak, our impression changed. It usually happens with us as well in our daily lives. Am I wrong? Yes. No. He discussed on every subject with such confidence that one might think the disposer of all things sought his counsel in every decision. Until then, we had been perfectly content, unaware of hidden forces shaping the world, that the Russians were pursuing secret policies, and that the confusion among the English was its peak. Our new acquaintance, however, hinted at such, slyly remarking. So this passage is all about two persons involving in a conversation with an unknown stranger man in their journey, and what at their first glance, what impression they drew, what impression that man created in them, how they judged, on what basis they judged. And again, after moving on, after spending some time with the man, after having a conversation, what impression again that impression what they created at the first was changed. So there are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are reported in our newspapers. In your newspapers, having never before traveled beyond our homes, we were struck dumb with wonder at his manner. No matter how trivial the topic, he could quote science, comment on the Vedas, or recite quatrains from Persian poets. Since we possessed no real knowledge of science, the Vedas, or Persian literature, our admiration for him only grew more and more. My kinsman, a theosophist, Broomish, and then here theosophist, became convinced that our fellow passenger was inspired by some strange magnetism, occult power, or astral body. He listened with devotional rapture even to the most common remarks and secretly noted down his words. Okay, so let's have a look deep. I suspect our extraordinary companion noticed this and was quietly pleased when the train, pleased about? When the train reached notice this sentence, the strange man, the extraordinary companion of those two people, was quietly pleased. About what? The way they are admiring him? Kind of. When the train reached the junction, we gathered in the waiting room to await our connection. It was 10 p.m. and as the train was expected to be delayed owing to some fault in the lines, I spread my bed on the table and prepared to sleep. But just then the extraordinary man began spinning a tale, and of course, I could not close my eyes all night. What do you mean by spinning a tale? So let's have a look exactly what it discusses and what kind of questions we can expect through this beautiful story by our famous Rabindranath Tagore. The narrator and his kinsman's initial impression on the unusual man highlights which theme most strongly? The deceptive nature of appearances? Yes, exactly. Maybe not. Let's have more information and then decide. The superiority of Western education? No. The danger of blind faith? Not at all. The reliability of cultural stereotypes? Kind of. A and D, in between these two, what could be a right option? But according to my point of view, option A could be a right option. Let's see exactly why it is a right option. Yes. At first, in the beginning of the passage, the man appears ordinary and unremarkable, but later he found to be a great, renowned personality. that is the reason why they are admiring him, right? Yes. Finally, it shows that appearances can be misleading. So that's the reason this shows appearances can be deceptive. Option A could be a right option, right answer. Which literary device is most evident in the narrator's line? So what is the tool narrator used in his passage or in his style of writing? So one might think the disposer of all things sought his counsel in every decision. So in this line, what could be that literary tool exactly narrator used to describe it? So let's have a look. Irony, euphemism, allegory, hyperbola. My choice would be hyperbola. But why? Let us have a discussion and guess exactly why. Is it correct or not? So answer D is right option, hyperbola. Why then? The narrator here exaggerates. Who is the narrator? He is exaggerating the man's confidence to a ridiculous extent, as though God himself seeks his advice. Why he stated this? Because we got to know he is good at everything. Is it possible to be good at everything? Because those two people had drawn admiration towards that strange man. They are unaware of these concepts. Unless that could not be possible, one to be perfect in everything at a time. So this is overstatement, hyperbola, not allegory. So allegory cannot be an answer and hyperbola is a right option. The word theophist means exactly what does it mean? Skeptic, mystic, agonistic, materialistic. Agonistic, no. Materialistic, not at all. Skeptic and mystic, because a kind of philosophy, it's related to philosophy, right? So my choice would be mystic, because that states philosophy. Theophist is someone who believes in mystical or occult spiritual knowledge. We heard the word occult spiritual knowledge. So that exactly states mystic. In the passage, we heard the word occult spiritual knowledge, which the man contains, the stranger has, and which directly states mystic. The word boorish means courtly, no. Well-bred, no. Gentle, not at all. Discourteous, I feel so. Let's assume this would be a right option. Yes. Option A is the right. Boorish means rude, uncultured, ill-mannered. We already know what is rude, uncultured, ill-mannered. Behaving in a very bad manner. So option B, gentle, means refined, which is an opposite to that, boorish. So option A would be the right answer. The narrator's suspicion that the extraordinary man was quietly pleased suggests what? The man was humble and embarrassed. He wished to avoid recognition. Not, I don't think so. He was indifferent to how others perceived him. No. He derived satisfaction from impressing and influencing others. So according to the passage we have gone through, according to the meaning of the passage, D and B could be answers, but there is one more choice where B could not be an answer. D would be right exact answer. So because that man was pleased by their admiration. So we heard the man was pleased by their admiration in the passage, which directly states he derived satisfaction from impressing and influencing others. So what could be a better explanation to this more than that line? So D would be a right option. Next, the narrator says, yes, D is the right option. The narrator says the man noticed their admiration and he was quietly pleased, meaning he enjoyed impressing others. Obviously, everyone will do. So D would be right option. Next one. Oh, we heard a beautiful passage. We have gone through a beautiful passage by Rabindranath Tagore. Now let's go. What kind of information this passage gives to us. What knowledge we are going to get through this passage now. Man is the only creature that consumes without producing. It's all about food. Okay. He does not give milk. He does not lay eggs. He is too weak to pull the plow. And he cannot run fast enough to catch rabbits. Is it true? No, I don't think so. Yet he claims dominion over all animals. Yes. We are dominating everyone. No? Yes, we are. He sets us to work, returns only the bare minimum to keep us from starving, and keeps the rest for himself. Who is this discussing? An animal, his narration, animal's point of view, how we are dominating them? Kind of. Let's have a look. Our labor tills the soil, our dung fertilizes it. Whose dung? Cow's dung. Fertilizes it. And still not one of us owns more than our bare skin. Yes. Oh, they do everything. Credit we take, and they own nothing. You cows, look at yourselves. How many thousands of gallons of milk have you produced this past year, and what has become of it? Milk that should have nurtured strong cows. Every drop has gone down the throats of our enemies. Who are the enemies of animals? Yeah, humans. And you hens, how many eggs have you laid, and how many of those ever hatched into chicks? The rest have gone to market to bring in money for Jones and his men. And you, Clover, where are the four foals you bore? You should have supported and comforted you in your old age. Each was sold at just a year old. You will never see them again. For all your labor in the fields and your four confinements, what you have gained except bare rations and a stall. What a pity suffering they go through. Even the lives we do live are cut short, denied, and their natural span. I do not grumble, for I am among the fortunate. I am 12 years old and have borne over 400 children. Such is the natural life of a pig, but no animal escapes the cruel knife in the end. Kind of it true? You young pokers sitting before me, each of you will scream your lives out at the block within a year. This is the fate that awaits all of us. Cows, pigs, hens, sheep, everyone. Even the horses and dogs share no better, and box or the everyday you breathe, muscles fail you. So this is all about animals sharing their opinion, their pain, their suffering, and their point of view, which was author's way of narrating to us. Which of the following best describes the tone of passage? So what kind of tone of passage this could be? Can that be detached and neutral, or critical, somber, and resentful, evoking both awareness and outrage? Kind of, because according to narrator's point of view, the way he narrated, it is creating awareness to us that when we are reading, it sets that mindset to us, and also an outrage over there. So this could be an option. Humorous and light-hearted. No, that could not be a humor. Admiring and celebratory, that can never be an option. How can we celebrate one's pain or one's opinion of pain and suffering? No. So B could be a right option. Let's have a look. Correct answer is B, yes. The speaker is angry, mournful, and condemning the cruelty of humans. Cruel knife, correct. Screaming your lives out, exactly. Slit your throat and boil you down. Slit your throat and boil you down. Yes. This tone is critical, emotional. Yes. It is critical, emotional, and grim, aiming to provoke outrage. Yes. So option B could be a right exact answer. The speaker frequently contrasts animals' work with human gain. This literary technique is best classified as. So what kind of technique exactly was that? Allegory of class exploitation, hyperbole for a comic effect, irony about farm management, metaphor for animal biology. What could be exactly the thing? Let's see. Allegory of class exploitation. But how come? Animal farm is widely known as allegory of class oppression, comparing humans to exploitative ruling classes and animals to the working class. Yes. According to the passage, according to narrator's point of view, what they stated was animals are working class and we are getting benefited, we are gaining benefit from their work, and they are not recognized. The passage repeatedly highlights animals produce, humans consume. Animals labor, humans profit. This is not irony but a deeper political allegory. Thus, option A could be right answer. Who is Nagger? a slaughter, a trader whose business is disposal of dead and unwanted animals, kind of an answer. Let's check more. A person whose business is disposal of dead or unwanted animals, maybe. Especially those whose flesh is not fit for human consumption. No, not an option. Harness maker, not at all. So option A and B between that, but according to my point of view, B could be a right option. A person whose business is disposal of dead or unwanted animals, especially those whose flesh is not fit for human consumption. Yeah, yes, exactly. Let's have a check into the passage. If it is beneficial, why will we humans live? So according to narrator's point of view, whatever is beneficial, whatever benefit we can take from animals, we'll definitely take. We will never hesitate. So according to narrator's point of view, if the flesh is useful, we will make it useful. We will definitely utilize it. So this could be a right option. The repeated reference to slaughter, drowning and the cranker primarily implies what? So repeated repetition of these words exactly implies what? Provide a detailed account of animal husbandry, evoke emotional outrage and highlight the brutality of exploitation. Yes, outrage, highlighting the brutality of exploitation, how we are exploiting them. Suggest that animals are naturally subservient, indicate that humans value animals. No, that's not at all true. So option B could be right answer because it was straight and clear from the passage. Yes, because tied with brick and drowned is intended to provoke shock, anger, slit your throat. All these words indicate that. So hope you guys have done a great job and I wish you good luck to hear a good news for all the candidates out there. Hope you have done it in a great way because I believe the preparation, whatever you have done, was an extraordinary way. Good luck and thank you.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the explanation of CLAT UG paper conducted on 7th December 2025. So we have already discussed English section. It is available as a separate video. Please do watch that. So in this video, we are going to see the explanation of remaining sections, which are current affairs, quantitative techniques, legal reasoning and logical reasoning. So let us start with current affairs from this session. So first passage is about US-India relations. So this passage says, US President Donald Trump has landed a triple whammy in India. So this passage is saying several ways through how US President Donald Trump has hurt India. One is torpedoing the H-1B visa program. So he is restricting the H-1B visa program. Then revoking the sanctions waiver on Chabahar port. So there is a Chabahar port India is constructing on Iran in the country of Iran, and this port is very important for us. But US is putting restrictions on anyone who is doing business with Iran or Russia. So there is a waiver for India because India is a very important ally for the US. Till now, for these operations of Chabahar port, US has issued a waiver from the sanctions it has imposed, but that waiver has been recently revoked. Then US President Donald Trump has imposed a 50% tariff on imports coming from India. So initially he imposed a 25%, then later he raised it to 50%. So this is the triple whammy, 3 shots on India's head. Then Pakistan and Saudi Arabia made a defense pact. So our enemy country has made a defense pact with another country, but US did not respond on this. This is also another indifference. So this passage says, because we have expected some good increase in relations in recent times because there was a Modi and Trump meet, so we expected some renewal in relations, but still these kind of tactics from USA is disappointing. Then it says, some people are saying these restrictions on H-1B visa, whatever US is putting, is a pressure tactic to bring India into the negotiation table on trade relations. So some people say this is a pressure tactic. Some other people say no, it is not a pressure tactic. Both India and US relations and this H-1B issue has nothing to do. So there is something called MAGA in US. It is a political movement. Make America Great Again. It is a political movement in USA. It is a conservative political movement. It opposes immigration into USA because they assume that at least they believe that foreigners coming into US and taking the jobs of US citizens. So this MAGA, Make America Great Again political movement, opposes immigration into USA. So because of the demands and pressure put by MAGA, Donald Trump is doing this. So some people believe this, some people believe that no, Trump's tactic is to bring India into negotiation table. So this is what passage says. So now let us solve the questions. What percentage tariff did President Trump initially impose on India imports in 2025? Initially, here the keyword is initially. If you see the passage is talking about imposition of 50% tariff on India. But this is a out of passage question. Initially, he imposed a 25% tariff. Then he increased it to another 25, total 50. Initially 25, increase it to 50. So cumulatively 50. That's what passage says. But the question is initially imposing. So answer is B25. Okay. Answer of question 39 is B25. Again, moving on. Question number 40. What strategic reason did Donald Trump cite for penalizing India with additional tariffs apart from trade imbalance? So what is the reason for putting this additional tariffs on India? Everyone knows the answer is D. India's defense and energy ties with Russia. So they are pretty open about it. They have imposed some sanctions on Russian oil companies also. Okay. So answer is D for the question 40. Moving on, question number 41. What is the strategic significance of the Chabahar port for India? So let us see the map first. So where is this Chabahar port? As I am saying, it is in Iran. So you can see here, if this is Iran, this is the Chabahar port. This is India, Pakistan, Chabahar port. Why we have selected this particular location? We want some good relations with Iran. We want connectivity to Iran and Afghanistan. That is okay. But there is also another point. There is a port called Gwadar port in Pakistan, which is constructed with the help of China by the Pakistan. So we want to put an eye on this because now China has access to Indian Ocean. And China and our neighbor countries conspiring together. So we wanted to keep a close eye on this. We want a strategic advantage. If in future China uses this port, we also want to use some other port in this region to counter the threat. So that is also one of the strategic reasons behind this Chabahar port. Okay, so what is the answer? Answer is B, acts as a counterbalance to China's presence in the nearby Gwadar port, Pakistan. So moving on, question number 42. What is the primary purpose of H1B visa? So there are various type of visas like F1 for US students visa, Indian students visas. So H1B is a type of visa which gives for employment, people who come for employment into USA. Okay. So 42 answer is B. 43. What is the abbreviation of MAGA? That is the question. Answer is B, Make America Great Again. Moving on to the next passage, it talks about Indian chess. So this is an expected question. First is US-India relations is expected question because international relations is a very important aspect for CLAT. Then comes sports. Sports is another important topic for CLAT. So this passage says, Indian chess recorded yet another great moment as Divya Deshmukh won the Women's World Cup. See, when it comes to chess, World Cup and Championship both are different. So this is talking about Women's World Cup conducted in country of Georgia. Okay. So this passage is talking about the greatness of Divya Deshmukh and Koner Hampi. So that is it, nothing more. Moving on, then it is talking about Divya Deshmukh being the 88th Grandmaster. So there are 88 Grandmasters. Okay. Then where the past achievements of Divya Deshmukh. Okay. So this passage basically talks about rise of a new champion in women's chess in India. Okay. So let us solve the first question, out of passage question. Where is the origin of chess believed to be? So chess is believed to be originated from India and its earlier name was Chaturanga. So India, Chaturanga. Moving on. Who was the first Indian to earn the title of chess grandmaster? Chess grandmaster. So first Indian to become chess grandmaster is Viswanathan Anand. Okay, everybody knows it. Answer is D. Simple question. And in 1998 he achieved the title. Who was the first official world chess champion? Okay, as I told you, chess championship is different from chess World Cup. So question is asking the first winner of World Chess Championship. Answer is D. Wilhelm Steinitz. Okay, it is in 1886. Then question 47, which of the following computers successfully defeated Garry Kasparov, the reigning World Chess Championship, in a tournament match? So if you see, this is a previous year question of 2023 CLAT current affairs, repeated as it is. So in 2023 current affairs section in CLAT official paper, it was given, and the answer is D, blue. So this question tells us the importance of revising past papers in CLAT. Answer is C, D, blue. Which of the following cities is the venue for hosting the 11th edition of Chess World Cup? So Chess World Cup 2025 has been recently concluded in Goa in India in November. So very latest current affair. Answer is C, Goa. Next passage. So this is talking about speech of our external minister Mr. Jaishankar in Lok Sabha. So after Pahalgam terrorist attack, we have conducted Operation Sindoor. So what happened in Operation Sindoor? Why it was conducted? What are our objectives? This was briefed by Mr. Jaishankar to Lok Sabha members, and this is the extract of that speech. Okay, so simple, straightforward. So here it is talking about something called Indus Water Treaty. After the Pahalgam terrorist attack, we have suspended something called Indus Water Treaty between India and Pakistan. This treaty was brokered by World Bank. So this passage also says the checkpost Atari was closed. Where is this checkpost Atari? It is between India and Pakistan, and location near Amritsar in Punjab. This was open, now it was closed. Okay. And Pakistan nationals who were traveling under SARC visa. There is a group called SARC. So you know international groups are very much important for CLAT. So knowing SARC is very much mandatory. So knowing the members of SARC is very much mandatory, because Pakistan is a member of SARC. So there are some incentives. Now we are suspending one of it. Okay. And defense, naval and air advisors of the Pakistan High Commission would be declared persona non grata. This means not welcome. Okay, we don't want you in India. So this is the question, this is the passage. So let us move on to the question. Where is the Pahalgam situated? So in which state this terrorist attack happened, or in which UT? That is the question. Answer is C, Jammu and Kashmir. Checkpost Atari, where it is located? It is near Amritsar, Punjab. Which among the following is not a SARC nation? So first let us know which are the SARC nations. What is SARC? South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. So members are India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and Maldives. So this is South Asia. If you see the question now, it says Afghanistan okay, Maldives okay, Bangladesh okay, but Mauritius, it is down far below. Okay, so Mauritius is not a member. Next question, expression persona non grata means. So if you know, you know in English, okay. Anyway, if you know gracias, this means thank you, okay. Such a way. So person means person, and non grata means it sounds like not welcome, okay. No thanks, not welcome. So it means an unwelcome person. Indus Water Treaty signed in 1960 between India and Pakistan was facilitated by World Bank, okay. World Bank mediated between India and Pakistan to enable this treaty. Now it was suspended. Which among the following is not a tributary of river Indus? So tributaries of Indus River are very famous. So this is the Indus River. So Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Sutlej and Beas, all these five are tributaries of Indus, we know. So among these, Tapati is not the tributary of Indus, because Tapati is in central India passing through Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Maharashtra area, okay. So next passage talks about SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So recently in the city of Tianjin in China, because China is the current president of SCO. So every year one country organizes the event and it passes on the presidentship to the another country. So this year China organized the event and it passed on the membership next presidency to the Kyrgyzstan. Okay, so in 31 August and September, on these dates, SCO meeting was held in Tianjin in China. Okay, our Prime Minister has attended the event and he talks about SCO. Okay, he underlined need for coordinated action against terrorism. Okay, so in SCO also condemned the Pahalgam terror attack. So this passage basically talks about that. Okay, if there is anything relevant to the question in the passage, I would have highlighted. Okay, so next question. Here you can see, so he is highlighting the connectivity also among the SCO members. So there is an initiative called International North-South Transport Corporation, INSCTC. Okay. Then he is also talking about, he also proposed commencing a civilizational dialogue forum. So he is proposing a civilizational dialogue forum, civilizational between people of various countries. And why is this? To foster greater people-to-people ties and cultural understanding. Okay. Now question, what is the purpose of this civilizational dialogue forum? So in the passage itself it was given cultural understanding. Okay. So answer is D. '56. Next presidency of SCO is taken over by Kyrgyzstan. Straight up fact. Okay. Where is Chabahar port located? So we have already seen it is located in Iran. Okay, it is located in country of Iran. Which of the following countries is not a member of SCO? So last year itself SCO has taken Belarus membership. Belarus joined as a member in 2024. In 2023 Iran joined. Pakistan and India joined in 2017, same year. So Myanmar is not the member. Okay, so you can see the SCO members here. Myanmar is not the member of SCO. So Secretariat of SCO is located in, basic fact, because international organizations are very much important to the CLAT. So you should know basically what is SCO, and its headquarters secretariat is in Beijing, China. Okay. At the conclusion of 25th SCO summit, so this year summit, they are saying member countries adopted. So when the meeting took place in the city of Tianjin, so which declaration they will adopt? Usually in which city they have conducted the meeting, that declaration with the name of that particular city they will adopt. Okay. So this is, you can say, from the passage. It is not an outside question. Next passage is about Air India crash. So we all know. So there is a Air India flight accident in Ahmedabad this year. So many people died. Only one person survived. He is a British citizen of Indian origin. He is a Indian origin person who has taken British citizenship. He is the only person survived. Everyone has died from that accident. So it is Air India. Air India is owned by Tata Group right now. So they have given some compensation to the victims, and they have opened a trust in Mumbai for these victims and their families. So passage talks about that. Okay, it talks about Tata Group, which has established a trust. It established this trust in Mumbai. It is not given in the passage, but it was asked in the question. Okay, so let us move on to the questions. Air India flight A171 was operating from Ahmedabad to, on that day it is going from Ahmedabad to London Gatwick Airport. Okay. Sorry, answer is not Heathrow Airport. Answer is London Gatwick Airport. Okay. Answer is option A. Who is the Minister of Civil Aviation of India? So Sri Kinjarapu Rammohan Naidu is the Minister of Civil Aviation of India. A17 Memorial and Welfare Trust is registered as a public charitable trust in Mumbai. Answer is C, Mumbai. It is a fact. Simple fact. Okay. Sole survivor of the Air India flight A171 accident is, so he is British national of Indian origin. The agency that probes the fatal crash of A171 is సో ఎయిర్క్రాఫ్ట్ యాక్సిడెంట్ ఇన్వెస్టిగేషన్ బోర్డ్ AIB, ఓకే, ఇన్వెస్టిగేషన్ బ్యూరో AIB. Air India flight AA171 was, so the accident occurred for this model, okay, Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner. This particular aircraft model was involved in that particular accident, okay. So option is B. So that ends the current affairs section. Please wait for quantitative techniques followed by our logical and legal reasoning. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Now we are dealing with the quantitative aptitude section, which includes 12 questions. రెండు ప్యాసేజెస్ ఉన్నాయి. రెండు ప్యాసేజ్లో కూడా ఒకటి డిఫికల్ట్ క్యాలిక్యులేషన్స్ ఉన్నాయి, ఇంకోటి మోస్ట్ ఈజీ క్యాలిక్యులేషన్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఫస్ట్ ప్యాసేజ్ చూస్తే హెల్త్ ఇన్సూరెన్స్ మీద ఇచ్చాడు. ఇది జస్ట్ జనరల్ డేటా, ఇది ఇక్కడేం డేటా మనకేం ఉపయోగపడదు ఈ క్వశ్చన్ సాల్వింగ్కి. జస్ట్ హెల్త్ ఇన్సూరెన్స్ ఎలా ఉంది, అర్బన్ డివైడ్, అర్బన్ రూరల్, తర్వాత 4 సెక్షన్లు విడగొట్టాడు. ఇక్కడ చూస్తే పబ్లిక్ ఇన్సూరెన్స్, ప్రైవేట్ ఇన్సూరెన్స్, ఇంకా ఎంప్లాయర్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేసే ఇన్సూరెన్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా, ఇంకా అన్ఇన్సూర్డ్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేశారంటే దానికి సంబంధించింది. నెక్స్ట్ చూస్తే ద సర్వే, ఇది డేటా, ఇది ఇంపార్టెంట్ మనకి. ఇక్కడ మొత్తం సర్వేలు 1,80,000 అడల్ట్స్ ఉన్నారు. అర్బన్ రూరల్ డివైడ్ చేశాడు 55%, 45%. ఓకే, ఇన్ ఈచ్ ఏరియా కవరేజ్ చెప్పాను కదా, 4 హెడ్స్ ఉన్నాయి మనకి ఇక్కడ. ఫస్ట్ డీటెయిల్ రాసిన అర్బన్ కవరేజ్, రూరల్ కవరేజ్. ఓకే, ఇక్కడ ఇన్సూరెన్స్ అంటే ఏం తీసుకోమంటున్నాడు అంటే పబ్లిక్, ప్రైవేట్, ఎంప్లాయీ, ఏదో ఒక దానిలో కవర్ అయిన వాళ్ళని ఇన్సూరెన్స్ తీసుకోమంటున్నాడు. నెక్స్ట్ ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ చూస్తే రేషియో ఆఫ్ ఇన్సూర్డ్ అడల్ట్స్ ఇన్ అర్బన్ ఇస్ టు రూరల్. ఓకే, ముందు క్వశ్చన్స్ చూద్దాం. క్వశ్చన్స్ చూస్తే రిపీట్ అయిన టాపిక్ ఎక్కడ ఉన్నాయో చూద్దాం. ఇన్సూర్డ్, అన్ఇన్సూర్డ్ అంటున్నాడు, రూరల్ ఇన్సూర్డ్, అన్ఇన్సూర్డ్. ఓకే, ఓకే, ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ నుంచి వద్దాం. ముందు డేటా ఇచ్చిందని ఆర్గనైజ్ చేసుకుంటే మొత్తం 1,80,000 ఉన్నారు. 1,80,000లో రూరల్ 55%, అర్బన్ 55%, రూరల్ 35%. సో ఇక్కడ రాసేస్తున్నా. ఓకే, మొత్తం ఇచ్చిన పాపులేషన్ తీసుకుంటే 1,80,000, అందులో అర్బన్ వచ్చేటప్పటికి 55% అన్నాడు, రూరల్ 45% అన్నాడు. ఓకే, అర్బన్, రూరల్ ఇక్కడే రాసేసుకుందాం డీటెయిల్గా ఇచ్చిన మ్యాటర్ మొత్తాన్ని. మొత్తం 50% అంటే ఎంతమంది వస్తారు? 1,80,000. ఓకే, 55%, 45% అంటే వాడే ఇచ్చినట్టు చూడండి ఒకసారి. 99,000, 81,000 వాడే ఇచ్చాడు లక్కీగా. ఇదేమో 91,000. నెక్స్ట్ ఇదేమో ఎంత, 89,000, 99,000, 81,000. ఓకే, సారీ, 99, 81. ఓకే, 99,000, 81,000. ఇది ఇచ్చిన డేటా. అందులో పబ్లిక్ అర్బన్ కవరేజ్ చూసుకుంటే 99,000లోనే 28%, 22% ఇదంతా రాసుకుంటే మనం ఇక్కడే డేటా రాసేసుకుందాం. 28% అంటే అంత 28/100 ఇంటూ 99,000. అప్పుడు 100, 99,000లో ఈ 0 క్యాన్సిల్ అయిపోతే 28 ఇంటూ 990. ఇది పబ్లిక్ కవరేజ్. నెక్స్ట్ ప్రైవేట్ ఇన్సూరెన్స్ అయితే 22% అంటున్నాడు, అంటే 22 ఇంటూ 990. నెక్స్ట్ ఎంప్లాయర్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేసేది 18% అంటున్నాడు, అంటే 18 ఇంటూ 990. నెక్స్ట్ అన్ఇన్సూర్డ్ వచ్చేటప్పటికి 32% అంటున్నాడు, 32/100 ఇంటూ 99,000 అంటే లాస్ట్ 0 క్యాన్సిల్ చేస్తున్నా, అన్నిటికి ఇంతే రాస్తున్నా, 32 ఇంటూ 990. ఓకే, ఇది అర్బన్కి సంబంధించింది. రూరల్ సంబంధించిన డేటా, రూరల్ సంబంధించింది సేమ్ ఇదే 4 హెడ్స్ చూసుకుంటే ఇక్కడే రాసేస్తున్నా, ఎగ్జాక్ట్ ఇక్కడ రాద్దాం. ఇక్కడే రూరల్ సంబంధించి ఇక్కడ రాసేస్తే ఇదే సేమ్ పబ్లిక్ డేటా అంతా ఇక్కడ 35% అంటున్నాడు కాబట్టి 35/100 ఇంటూ ఇక్కడ ఏం తీసుకోవాలి, రూరల్ పాపులేషన్ తీసుకుంటే 810, 35 ఇంటూ 810. నెక్స్ట్ ఇక్కడ 10%, 10 ఇంటూ 810. ఒకేసారి ఫస్ట్ రాసుకుంటే డేటా ఈజీ అయిపోతుంది. నెక్స్ట్ ఇంకా క్వశ్చన్స్ దగ్గర 8 ఇంటూ 810 ఎంప్లాయర్ది. నెక్స్ట్ అన్ఇన్సూర్డ్ వచ్చేటప్పుడు ఎక్కువ 47 ఇంటూ 810. ఇది ఇచ్చిన డేటా. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు క్వశ్చన్స్లోకి వెళ్తే ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్, రేషియో ఆఫ్ ఇన్సూర్డ్ అడల్ట్స్ ఇన్ అర్బన్ ఈస్ టు రూరల్. ఇన్సూర్డ్ అడల్ట్స్ అంటే ఏం తీసుకోమన్నాడు ప్యాసేజ్లో, మొత్తం ఈ 3 స్కీమ్స్ కింద కవర్ అయ్యే వాళ్ళంతా ఇన్సూర్డే. సో అర్బన్ ఈస్ టు రూరల్ అంటున్నాడు, అంటే బల్క్ నెంబర్ తీసుకోవాల్సిందేగా. ఇక్కడ పర్సంటేజ్ అంటే రేషియో అడుగుతున్నాడు అంతే. ఈ మొత్తం పాపులేషన్ ఈస్ టు ఈ మొత్తం పీపుల్, పర్సన్స్, నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ పర్సన్స్ డేటా అడుగుతున్నాడు. సో ఈ మూడింటిని యాడ్ చేస్తే ఎంత క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయొచ్చు. అన్నిట్లో 990 కామన్ తీసేస్తే 28 + 22 50, 50 ప్లస్ ఇదంతా 68. సో ఆన్సర్ ఏం రాయొచ్చు 68 × 990, 68 × 990, 68 × 990. ఇదేంటి అర్బన్లో ఇన్సూర్డ్ అడ్రస్ డేటా. మరి రూరల్లో ఇదేగా ఫస్ట్ 3 డేటానేగా ఎంత ఇది 35, 45 + 53 అంతేనా 53. సో 53 × 880, 8110 అంతే. ఈ రేషియో అడుగుతున్నాడు అంతే, సింపుల్ ఆన్సర్. రేషియో ఆఫ్ ఇన్సూర్డ్ అడల్ట్స్ ఇన్ అర్బన్ ఈస్ట్ టు రూరల్ అంటే అర్బన్లో ఫస్ట్ 3 హెడ్స్ కింద కవర్ అయ్యే నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్, ఈస్ట్ రూరల్లో కూడా ఫస్ట్ 3 హెడ్స్ కింద కవర్ అయ్యే నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్, పబ్లిక్, ప్రైవేటు, ఇంకోటి ఎంప్లాయర్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేసే డేటా. సో ఇక్కడ నుంచి ఈజీ క్యాలిక్యులేషన్ చూడండి. 9 11 టైమ్స్ 9 టైమ్స్ డైరెక్ట్ మల్టిప్లికేషన్ ఆన్సర్. మల్టిప్లై చేస్తే 68 × 11 అంటే లాస్ట్లో 8 అంటే 74, 748 వస్తుంది చూడండి. 748/477 ఈజీ ఆప్షన్. సో జస్ట్ క్యాలిక్యులేషన్ అంతే ఇది. నెక్స్ట్ సెకండ్ క్వశ్చన్ చూస్తే బై వాట్ పర్సంటేజ్ ఈజ్ రూరల్ అన్ఇన్సూర్డ్ హయ్యర్ దాన్ అర్బన్ అన్ఇన్సూర్డ్. ఎప్పుడైనా ఒక పర్సంటేజ్లు అడిగినప్పుడు హయ్యర్ దాన్ అడిగినప్పుడు ముందు ఆ డిఫరెన్స్ చూస్తాం. రూరల్ అన్ఇన్సూర్డ్ అర్బన్ అన్ఇన్సూర్డ్ కానీ ఎంత హైయెస్ట్ ఉన్నారో చూస్తాం. బై కింద ఏం డివైడ్ చేయాలి, అర్బన్ అన్ఇన్సూర్డ్ డివైడ్ చేయాలి ఇంటూ 100. అదేగా మన ఫార్ములా. సో రూరల్ అన్ఇన్సూర్డ్ మైనస్ అర్బన్ అన్ఇన్సూర్డ్ బై అర్బన్ అన్ఇన్సూర్డ్. ఇన్సూరెన్స్ లేని వాళ్ళు డేటాకి వెళ్తే అర్బన్లో అన్ఇన్సూర్డ్ అని ఇన్సూరెన్స్ తీసుకునే వాళ్ళు ఎంతమంది, రూరల్లో కదా ఎక్కువ ఉన్నారు. సో 47 × 810 మైనస్ 32 × 990 బై 32 × 990 అదే ఆన్సర్. సో ప్యాసేజ్లోకి వెళ్ళిపోతే సో ఆన్సర్ అంతే ఇక్కడ 47 × 810 మైనస్ 32 × 990 బై కింద కూడా మళ్ళీ 32 × 990 అంతే, ఇదే ఆన్సర్. ఇక్కడ క్యాలిక్యులేషన్స్ ఎలా చేసుకోవచ్చు, అన్నిట్లో 0 క్యాన్సిల్ చేసేయచ్చు ఫస్ట్. నెక్స్ట్ 9 టేబుల్ ఇక్కడ 11 టైమ్స్, ఇక్కడ కూడా 11 టైమ్స్, ఇక్కడ కూడా 9 టైమ్స్ అంతే. ఇది ఆన్సర్ సింప్లిఫై చేస్తే మీకు ఎంత వస్తుంది చూడండి. ఇక్కడ ఈ క్యాలిక్యులేషన్ ఒకసారి చేస్తే సరిపోతుంది. సో ఇక్కడ ఎంత 9 7 అంటే 63, ఓకే 63. నెక్స్ట్ 6 టైమ్స్ అంటే 36 + 6 42 అంతేనా 42, ఓకే 42 మైనస్ 32 × 11 అంటే 22 టైమ్స్ ఇక్కడ. నెక్స్ట్ 33 అంటే 352 బై 352 ఇంటూ 100. ఇది ఈ ఆన్సర్ కనుక్కుంటే అయిపోతుంది. అప్రాక్సిమేట్గా ఎలా క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయండి, దగ్గరగా ఉన్నాయి అన్ని కూడా. నీకు ఫస్ట్ 2 digits తెలిస్తే చాలు, లాస్ట్ 2 digits వరకు నువ్వు కనుక్కోవాల్సిన అవసరం. సో 423 - 352 అంటే నియర్లీ ఎంత వస్తుంది 71/352 ఇంటూ 100 అంటే పైన 100 చేసుకోండి 7100. ఎన్నిసార్లు పోతుంది చూడండి, 2 టైమ్స్ అయితే ఖచ్చితంగా పోద్దిగా. 2 టైమ్స్ పోతే ఎంత 704 అంటే 2 టైమ్స్ పోతుంది. ఇంకెంత మిగులుతుంది 60 అంటే 0 పెట్టుకోవచ్చుగా, 0 టైమ్స్ అంటే 600 పోతుంది. సో 0 పాయింట్ సంథింగ్ అది వస్తుంది. 20 పాయింట్ సంథింగ్ ఎక్కడ ఉంది, ఒక ఆప్షన్ ఉంది. సో ఆప్షన్ బి 28 ఆప్షన్ బి అంతే. నెక్స్ట్ క్వశ్చన్కి వెళ్తే ఇఫ్ పాపులేషన్ గ్రోస్ బై 5% నెక్స్ట్ ఇయర్ అండ్ షేర్స్ రిమైన్ ద సేమ్ హౌ మెనీ అడిషనల్ ప్రైవేట్లీ ఇన్సూర్డ్ పీపుల్ విల్ బి దేర్. అంటే మొత్తం 1,80,000 కదా పాపులేషన్, 1,80,000 కాస్త 5% పెరుగుతుందంట. 5% పెరిగితే ఈజీ చూసి చెప్పేది చూడండి. 10% అంటే ఎంత 18,000 10%. అందులో 5% అంటే 9,000 పెరిగితే ఎంత అవుతుంది పాపులేషన్ 1,89,000 అంతే. మళ్ళీ పర్సంటేజ్ రిమైన్స్ సేమ్ అంటున్నాడు. అంటే క్లియర్గా చెప్పాడు క్వశ్చన్లోనే. రూరల్ అర్బన్ డివిజన్ చూడండి 50%, 45% అదే మారట్లా. సో 1,89,000లో అర్బన్ పర్సంటేజ్ 55%, రూరల్ ఏమో 45%, ఇదే మారట్లా, ఇది సేమే ఉంది. అయితే ప్రైవేట్లీ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ పీపుల్ ఎంతమంది యాడ్ అయ్యారు అంటున్నాడు ఎక్స్ట్రా. సో ముందు బల్క్ నెంబర్, అదే ఇక్కడ ఎగ్జాక్ట్ నెంబర్ కనుక్కోవాల్సిందే. ఇంతకీ డేటా ఏమి ఇచ్చాడు, ప్రైవేట్లీ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ పీపుల్ ఎంత షేర్ ఉన్నారు చూడండి. 22% ఏమో అర్బన్లో, ఇక్కడేమో 10% అంతే. అది తెలిస్తే చాలు. 22% 10%. ఓకే, సో 22% ఆ డేటా, ఈ నెంబర్స్ ఏం మారట్లా, షేరింగ్ ఏం మారట్లా, జస్ట్ బల్క్ టోటల్ నెంబర్ మారింది అంతే. 22% ఆఫ్ అంటే 22 ఇక్కడ ఏం రాసుకోవాలి, 22% అంటే 22%, 22/100 ఇంటూ దేనిలో 22% అర్బన్ పాపులేషన్. అర్బన్ పాపులేషన్ ఎంత మరి 55% కాదు, 50/100 ఇంటూ ఇందులోనైనా 50/100 1,89,000 అంతే. ఇది రూరల్. అర్బన్లో ప్రైవేట్లీ ఇన్సూర్డ్, ఇది న్యూ నెంబర్. అయితే ఎడిషనల్ అంటున్నాడు కాబట్టి న్యూ షేర్ న్యూ పీపుల్ ఎంతమంది ఉన్నా కనుక్కోవాలి బై టోటల్ మైనస్ టోటల్ ప్రీవియస్ తీస్తే వచ్చేస్తుంది ఆన్సర్. సో ఇది న్యూ డేటా, ఇది న్యూ డేటా సంబంధించిన షేర్ కనుక్కుంటున్నాం ఎంత, ప్లస్ అర్బన్ రూరల్ షేర్ ఎంత 10/100 ఇంటూ మరి రూరల్ ఇన్సూర్డ్ పాపులేషన్ అంతా, ఇప్పుడు రూరల్ పాపులేషన్ అంతా సర్వే చేసినప్పుడు ఇప్పుడు కొత్త పాపులేషన్ 45/100 ఇంటూ ఎంత 1,18,000. ఇదే కొంచెం లెంగ్తీ ఉన్న క్వశ్చన్స్ 5 కూడా ఇదే లెంగ్తీ బాగా. సో ఇది ఎంత వస్తుంది ఆన్సర్? ఈ 4 జీరోలు క్యాన్సిల్ చేసేయచ్చా, 1 జీరోని బదులు ఇక్కడ 0.5 పెట్టుకుంటా, ఇక్కడ ఈ 4 జీరోలు క్యాన్సిల్ అయిపోతున్నాయి లక్కీగా. సో ఆన్సర్ ఎంత, రెండింటిలోంచి ఏం కామన్ తీయచ్చు, 189 కామన్ తీసేయచ్చు. కామన్ తీస్తే ఇక్కడ 45 ఉంది, ఇక్కడ ఎంత వస్తుంది 22 × 5.5 అంటే లాస్ట్లో 0 వస్తుంది కదా, అది క్యాన్సిల్ అయిపోతుందిగా. క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేసింది ఇక్కడ. సో 5 2 times 10 110, ఇక్కడ కూడా మళ్ళీ 110. సో నీకు ఎంత వస్తుంది 121 వచ్చేస్తుంది. 121.0 కదా ఇది, ఆ 0.0 ఎలా క్యాన్సిల్ అయిపోతుందిగా, అదే 0.5 ఉంది కాబట్టి. సో దీని ఆన్సర్ కనుక్కోండి. నెక్స్ట్ ఒరిజినల్ డేటా ఎంత, ఒరిజినల్ డేటా ఇక్కడే కనుక్కోవచ్చు స్టార్టింగ్లోనే. ఒరిజినల్ డేటా ఎంత, ఒరిజినల్ ప్రైవేట్ ఇన్సూరెన్స్ 22% అన్నాడు. 22 × 990 ప్లస్ 10 × 810గా. ఈ రెండింటిలో ఏం కామన్ తీయచ్చు, ఇక్కడ 90 వస్తుంది, ఇక్కడ 90 వస్తుంది చూడండి కామన్. 90 కామన్ తీసేస్తే ఈవెన్ ఇన్ఫాక్ట్ ఇంకొక 90 కూడా కామన్ తీయచ్చేమో చూద్దాం. 22 ఇంటూ ఇక్కడ 90 కామన్ తీస్తే అంతే, ఇక్కడ 11 అంతే. 90 కామన్ తీస్తాను, 0 పోయింది 11. ఇక్కడ 90 కామన్ తీసేస్తే 10 × 9 10 × 8 కదా, 10 × 9 అంటే 90. సో ఈ వాల్యూ కనుక్కోండి, ఈ వాల్యూ ఆ వచ్చిన ఇప్పుడు కొత్త వాల్యూ, ఈ రెండు డిఫరెన్స్ చేస్తే నీకు ఆన్సర్ వచ్చేస్తుంది. సో ఇది ఆన్సర్ 1494 వచ్చేస్తుంది అని ఆన్సర్. నెక్స్ట్ టోటల్ ఎంప్లాయర్ కవర్డ్ అడల్ట్స్ అంటున్నాడు. ఎంప్లాయర్ కవర్డ్ అడల్ట్స్ అన్నప్పుడు ఎంప్లాయర్ షేర్ ఎంత ఉంది రెండింటికి, రూరల్ అర్బన్కి ఇద్దరు రోలు ఎంప్లాయర్ కవర్డ్ టోటల్ ఎంప్లాయర్ షేర్ అడుగుతున్నాడా. ఇక్కడేమో 18 × 990 8 × 810. ఓకే 18 8 గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, 18 8 అంతే, నెంబర్ అడుగుతున్నాడు అంతే. సో 18% ఆఫ్ 18% ఆఫ్ ఎంత 990 ప్లస్ 8% ఆఫ్ 810 అంతే. సమ్ చేస్తే అయిపోతుంది. ఎలా క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయొచ్చు, ఇది పూర్తి సమ్ చేయకుండా ముందు కామన్ ఇద్దాం. ఏం కామన్ తీయచ్చు, 10 కామన్ తీయచ్చు, ఇక్కడ 9 కూడా కామన్ తీయచ్చు. 90 కామన్ తీస్తే ఇక్కడ ఎంత వస్తుంది 18 × 11, ఇక్కడ 8 ఇంటూ ఇక్కడ ఎంత మిగులుతుంది, మళ్ళీ ఇంకో 9 మిగులుతుందిగా. మళ్ళీ రెండింటి నుంచి మళ్ళీ 9 కామన్ తీయచ్చుగా, అప్పుడు ఎంత వస్తుంది ఇక్కడ 810 ఇంటూ ఇక్కడ ఎంత వస్తుంది 9 కామన్ తీస్తే 22 + 9 22 + 8 ఎంత 30. సో 810 ఇంటూ 30. సో ఆన్సర్ అంతా 2 జీరోలు 3 1లు 3 8 24 24300 డైరెక్ట్ ఆన్సర్. సో జస్ట్ నెంబర్ అడుగుతున్నాడు అంతే, అబ్సల్యూట్ నెంబర్. నెక్స్ట్ వాట్ పర్సెంటేజ్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ ఇన్సూర్డ్ అడల్ట్స్ ఆర్ పబ్లిక్లీ ఇన్సూర్డ్. ఓకే అంటే మొత్తం ఇన్సూర్డ్ అడల్ట్స్లో పబ్లిక్ ఇన్సూర్డ్ ఎంత, పబ్లిక్ ఇన్సూర్డ్ పర్సన్స్ ఎంత, ఇది క్వశ్చన్. అంటే మొత్తం మనం మళ్ళీ డేటాకి వెళ్తే పబ్లిక్ ఇన్సూర్డ్ మొత్తం పబ్లిక్ ఇన్సూర్డ్ ఎక్కడ ఎంత 28 × 990 ప్లస్ 35 × 810. మనకు అనుకోవాల్సింది ఇది వాల్యూ 28 ఇంటూ ఇక్కడ క్యాలిక్యులేషన్ రాసిన 990 ప్లస్ 35 × 810. ఇది పబ్లిక్లీ ఇన్సూర్డ్ టోటల్ పీపుల్. బట్ దేనికి రేషియో అడుగుతున్నాడు, దేని పర్సెంటేజ్ అడుగుతున్నాడు, టోటల్ ఇన్సూర్డ్లో వీళ్ళ షేర్ ఎంత. టోటల్ ఇన్సూర్డ్ ఎవరు, ఈ ముగ్గురు కదా, ఈ ముగ్గురిని యాడ్ చేసుకోవడమేగా, అంటే పై 3 rows యాడ్ చేసుకోవడమే కదా. ఎంత యాడ్ చేస్తే ఇక్కడ ఈ మూడింటిని యాడ్ చేస్తే ఎంత 990 కామన్ వచ్చేస్తుందా. సో ఇక్కడ ఎంత 50, ఇక్కడ అంతా 68. సో ఆన్సర్ అంతా 68 × 990. నెక్స్ట్ ఇక్కడ ప్లస్ టోటల్ ఇన్సూర్డ్ అంటే వీళ్ళంతా కదా, మొత్తం ఈ ఫస్ట్ 3 rows ఉన్న మొత్తం డేటా టోటల్ ఇన్సూర్డ్. ఓన్లీ అప్పర్ పై లైన్లో ఉన్న డేటా పబ్లిక్లీ ఇన్సూర్డ్. సో ఇప్పుడు వీళ్ళ డేటా ఎంత 810 కామన్ చేస్తే 45 + 53. సో 53 × 810 అంతే. ఈ రేషియో అడుగుతున్నాడు ఇంటూ 100, ఈ రేషియో అడుగుతున్నాడు. ఎలా క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయొచ్చు, అన్నింటిలో 0 క్యాన్సిల్ చేసేయచ్చు. నెక్స్ట్ 9 క్యాన్సిల్ చేసేయచ్చు, 11 ఇక్కడ 9 times, ఇక్కడ 11 times 9 times. ఇంకేం క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయొచ్చు అంతే. సింప్లిఫై చేసేయండి డైరెక్ట్గా, మీకు సింప్లిఫై చేసి డైరెక్ట్ ఫస్ట్ 2 రేషియో తెలిస్తే చాలు. అంటే ఫస్ట్ 2 పాయింట్స్ నీకు ఎగ్జాక్ట్గా 50 పాయింట్స్ సంథింగ్ వచ్చేస్తుంది. సో ఎగ్జాక్ట్ నీకు ఆన్సర్ 50.86. ఎక్కువ కనుక్కోవాల్సిన అసలు మొత్తం డీటెయిల్గా నీకు ఫస్ట్ 2 తెలిస్తే చాలు. అది అప్రాక్సిమేట్గా ఇలా వస్తుంది మనకి. కిందేమో 1225, పైన 623, ఈ రేంజ్లో వస్తుంది ఆన్సర్. సో ఎగ్జాక్ట్ చెప్పేచ్చు ఫస్ట్ 5 ఇక్కడ 623 అన్నాడు కదా, అంటే మీకు ఎలా వస్తుంది అంటే 623/1225 × 100 వస్తుంది. సో ఇది 6230 అంటే 5 times పోతుందా చూడండి. 5 times అంటే ఎంత 12 5s అంటే 6000, మళ్ళీ 25 5s అంటే 125. సరిపోయింది చూడండి ఇక్కడ 225. 6,225 ఎగ్జాక్ట్ సరిపోయింది. అంటే 5తో స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. 5తో స్టార్ట్ అయ్యేది 2 ఉన్నాయి, ఆ తర్వాత 5 ఉన్నాయి, 50 ఉంది. ఆబ్వియస్లీ 50 పాయింట్ సంథింగేగా. సో 50 పాయింట్ సంథింగ్ వచ్చేసింది కాబట్టి ఆన్సర్ వచ్చేసినట్టు, పూర్తి చేయాల్సిన అవసరం. నెక్స్ట్ వాట్ పర్సెంటేజ్ ఆఫ్ టోటల్ సర్వేడ్ పాపులేషన్ వాజ్ ఇన్సూర్డ్. ఓకే, అంటే మొత్తం సర్వేడ్ పాపులేషన్ అంతా 1,80,000 ఒరిజినల్ డేటా. అందులో ఇన్సూర్డ్ పీపుల్ ఎంత అంటున్నాడు. ఇన్సూర్డ్ పీపుల్ అంటే ఫస్ట్ 3 rows-లో ఉన్న వాళ్ళని యాడ్ చేయడమేగా. ఫస్ట్ 3 rows-లో ఉన్న వాళ్ళని ఇప్పుడే యాడ్ చేసాం, కింద యాడ్ చేసాం చూడండి, ఈ కింద రాసాను చూడండి ఇక్కడ. నెక్స్ట్ ముందు క్వశ్చన్ 68 into 990 ప్లస్ దాని తర్వాత ఏం రాసాం 53 into 810 ఈ డేటా. వాట్ పర్సెంటేజ్ అంటున్నాడు కాబట్టి మళ్ళీ ఇంటూ 100 ఈ వాల్యూ అడుగుతున్నాడు. అంటే ఇన్సూర్డ్ పాపులేషన్ టోటల్ సర్వేడ్ పాపులేషన్లో ఎంతమంది ఉన్నారు ఇది క్వశ్చన్. సో ఇన్సూర్డ్ పాపులేషన్ అంటే ఫస్ట్ 3 rows-లో ఉన్న వాళ్ళ యొక్క అబ్జల్యూట్ నెంబర్ అడుగుతున్నాడు బై టోటల్ నెంబర్ ఇంటూ 100. సో ఇక్కడ ఈ 3 జీరోలు క్యాన్సిల్ చేసి చూడండి, ఇక్కడ 2 జీరోలు క్యాన్సిల్ అయిపోతున్నాయి, ఇక్కడ 1 జీరో క్యాన్సిల్ అయిపోతుంది. నెక్స్ట్ 180 అంటే 9th టేబుల్ పోతుంది కదా లక్కీగా. 9th టేబుల్ ఎన్నిసార్లు పోతుంది 20 times, ఇక్కడ 11 times, ఇక్కడ 9 times. తర్వాత 20గా ఉంది, సో ఈజీయే. నీకు పైన 68 into 11 అంటే 88 times వస్తుంది. 66 + 8 అంటే 748. ఓకేనా. నెక్స్ట్ 9 into 3 అంటే 7, 45, 47 యాడ్ చేస్తే 15, 12, 1225/20. 20 అంటే 2 10 times, ఇక్కడ 624 వస్తుందా 624.5. మరి 10తో డివైడ్ చేస్తే 62.61 వస్తుంది చూడండి ఇక్కడ. అంతే 61 వస్తుంది చూడండి. 61 6 times, 1 time, 2 times, 5 times. సో 612.5 బై 10 ఉంది కాబట్టి 61.25 ఎగ్జాక్ట్ సరిపోయింది. అంతే. ఫస్ట్ ప్యాసేజ్ కొంచెం ట్రిక్కీయే, క్యాలిక్యులేషన్స్ ఎక్కువ ఉన్నాయి కంపారిటివ్. సెకండ్ చాలా ఈజీగా ఉంది. సో ఇది ఎలక్ట్రిసిటీ జనరేషన్ మీద ఇచ్చాడు. పవర్ సెక్టార్లో లక్కీగా డైరెక్ట్ నెంబర్స్ ఇచ్చాడు. ఇక్కడ ప్రతి క్వార్టర్లోనూ ఎంత జనరేషన్ అవుతుంది పవర్ గిగావాట్ అవర్స్లో ఇచ్చాడు. అది కూడా సెక్షన్ వైజ్ ఇచ్చాడు. అంటే కోల్ ఎంత, గ్యాస్ ఎంత. తర్వాత ఈ మూడింటిని కలిపి ఏమంటున్నాడంటే ఈ మూడింటిని కలిపి ఏమంటున్నాడు రెన్యూవబుల్. ఈ మూడింటిని కలిపి రెన్యూవబుల్ అనే ఓడాడుతున్నాడు. మీరు క్వశ్చన్స్ కూడా అబ్జర్వ్ చేయాలి ముందు. ప్యాసేజ్ ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ సాల్వ్ చేసే ముందు ఒకసారి ముందు క్వశ్చన్స్ అని చదవండి. ఏది ఎక్కువ రిపీట్ అయిందో చూడండి. ఎక్కువ రెన్యూవబుల్ క్వశ్చన్స్ రిపీట్ అయ్యాయి. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 డేటా ఇచ్చాడు నీట్గా. రెన్యూవబుల్ అంటే ఏంటో క్లియర్ మెన్షన్ చేశాడు. ఇది లాస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్, మధ్యలో ఒక క్వశ్చన్ సంబంధించిన డేటా అది. అంతే. టోటల్ యాన్యువల్ జనరేషన్ మోస్ట్ ఈజీ. యాన్యువల్ జనరేషన్ అంతా ప్రతి క్వార్టర్ జనరేషన్ అయిన టోటల్ పవర్ యాడ్ చేయడమేగా. సో పెన్ను పెట్టుకుని యాడ్ చేసి చూడండి. 5,000, 5,500 అన్నాడు. నెక్స్ట్ ఇది 5,500 2 సార్లు వచ్చింది. 5,500 అంటే ఎంత 11,000. 11,000 + 5,000 16,000. 16,000 + 6,000 22,000. డైరెక్ట్ ఆన్సర్ చూడండి 22,000 ఈజీ. నెక్స్ట్ సెకండ్ ఇది 34 క్వశ్చన్. ఒకసారి ఓవరాల్ క్వశ్చన్స్ చూస్తే రెన్యూవబుల్ మీద ఎక్కువ అడిగాడు. రెన్యూవబుల్ షేర్ అంతా అని. సో రెన్యూవబుల్ షేర్ అని ఒక క్వశ్చన్ కనపడుతుంది. ఇంకో క్వశ్చన్ హైయెస్ట్ రెన్యూవబుల్ షేర్ ఏ క్వార్టర్ ఉంది. ఇంకా లాస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ అయితే లోయెస్ట్ రెన్యూవబుల్ షేర్ అడుగుతున్నాడు. సో మొత్తానికి యాన్యువల్ గ్యాస్ రేషియో ఇదంతా ఓకే. లాస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ కూడా మళ్ళీ రెన్యూవబుల్ షేర్ మీద ఉంది. సో ఒకసారి రెన్యూవబుల్ సంబంధించిన డేటా ఒకసారి విడిగా రాసుకుందాం. అన్నిసార్లు క్వశ్చన్ రిపీట్ అవుతుంది కాబట్టి ఒకసారి రాసుకుంటే రెన్యూవబుల్ డేటా ఎక్కడంతా ఈ 3 ఫస్ట్ క్వార్టర్లో రెన్యూవబుల్ డేటా అంతా 3కి సమ్మేగా ఎంత రాసేది డైరెక్ట్గా. ఇక్కడ 16 వస్తుంది, 22,000 వస్తుంది ఫస్ట్ క్వార్టర్లో. నెక్స్ట్ Q1లో రెన్యూవబుల్ డేటా రాస్తున్నాం. రెన్యూవబుల్ డేటా. నెక్స్ట్ Q2లో ఎంత 1,000 హైడ్రో సోలార్ విండ్ కలిపితే. సో ఇదంతా వస్తుంది 1,400, 1,000 2,400 వస్తుంది. నెక్స్ట్ Q3లో ఎంత వస్తుంది 3 కలిపితే 1,800, 2,500 వస్తుందా 2,500 వస్తుంది. Q3 ఒకేసారి రాసేస్తుంది. ఇక్కడ 2,500 వస్తుంది. చెక్ చేసుకోండి ఇంకొకసారి 2,500 అంతే సరిపోయింది. లాస్ట్లో 1,100, 900 అంటే 2,850 వస్తుంది. ఇక్కడ 2,850. ఓకే. Q4లో 2,850. ఇది మొత్తం రెన్యూవబుల్ షేరు. టోటల్ క్వశ్చన్స్ చూడండి ముందు. మళ్ళీ క్వశ్చన్స్లోకి వెళ్తే సెకండ్ క్వశ్చన్ ఏముంది ఓవరాల్ రెన్యూవబుల్ షేర్ అంటాడు. అంటే మొత్తం రెన్యూవబుల్ పవర్ టోటల్ పవర్లో ఎంత ఉంది అంతేనా క్వశ్చన్. మొత్తం రెన్యూవబుల్ పవర్ టోటల్ పవర్లో ఎంత ఉంది. మొత్తం రెన్యూవబుల్ పవర్ ఎంత 8,000 వచ్చేస్తుంది. ఇక్కడ 8,900. ఇంకో 850 యాడ్ చేస్తే 9,750. 9,750 బై టోటల్ పవర్ ఎంత వచ్చింది. ఇప్పుడే మనం ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ 22,000 వచ్చింది కదా. అంతే ఇంటూ ఎంత రేషియో. అంటే టోటల్ రెన్యూవబుల్ షేరు మొత్తం పవర్లో ఎంత పర్సెంటేజ్ ఉంది ఇదే ఒక క్వశ్చన్. సో అప్పుడు క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేస్తే 3 జీరోలు క్యాన్సిల్ అయిపోయి ఇక్కడ 22 డివైడ్ చేయడమేగా. 22 ఎన్నిసార్లు పోతుంది చూడండి 4 times 88 అంటే ఇంకా 9 మిగులుతుంది. 95 అంటే మళ్ళీ 4 times 44 పాయింట్ సంథింగ్ వస్తుంది. ఆప్షన్ ఎన్నో నుంచి చూడండి 44తో స్టార్ట్ అయ్యి 44తో స్టార్ట్ అయ్యి ఒకటే ఉంది. సో ఒకటే ఆప్షన్ అంతే అయిపోయింది. నెక్స్ట్ రెన్యూబుల్ షేర్ మీద క్వశ్చన్ చేద్దాం. ముందు క్వార్టర్ విత్ హైయెస్ట్ రెన్యూబుల్ షేర్ పర్సెంటేజ్ అంటున్నాడు. లాస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ ఏమో క్వార్టర్ విత్ లోయెస్ట్ రెన్యూబుల్ పర్సెంటేజ్ అన్నాడు. మళ్ళీ డేటాలోకి వెళ్తే హైయెస్ట్ మొత్తం ఫస్ట్ క్వార్టర్ ఎంత 5000, సెకండ్ క్వార్టర్ 5500, థర్డ్ 5500, మళ్ళీ లాస్ట్ది 6000. ప్రతి క్వార్టర్లోనూ ఏ క్వార్టర్లో హైయెస్ట్ రెన్యూబుల్ షేర్ వస్తుంది అన్నాడు. ఏ క్వార్టర్ అయినా రెన్యూబుల్ షేర్ కావాలంటే ఆ రెన్యూబుల్ ఎనర్జీ బై టోటల్ ఎనర్జీ ఆ క్వార్టర్ సంబంధించింది, అప్పుడే నీకు ఆ షేర్ వస్తుంది. చూసుకుంటే ఫస్ట్ క్వార్టర్ చూద్దాం. ఫస్ట్ క్వార్టర్ ఎంత షేరు 2000/5000 ఇంటూ 100 కూడా వేసుకోవాలి. పర్సెంటేజ్ అడిగినప్పుడు జస్ట్ షేరింగే కాబట్టి అన్నిటికీ ఇంటూ 100 వస్తుంది. సో కంపారిజనే కాబట్టి జస్ట్ నేను 2/5 రాసేస్తున్నా. 2/5 రాసేయచ్చా ఫస్ట్ క్వార్టర్కి? 3 zeros క్యాన్సిల్ కాబట్టి. సెకండ్ క్వార్టర్కి 24/55, థర్డ్ క్వార్టర్కి 25/55, ఫోర్త్ క్వార్టర్ 28.5/60. అంటే ఈ 4 వాల్యూస్లో ఏది హైయెస్ట్ ఏది లోయెస్ట్ కనుక్కొని టూ క్వశ్చన్స్ అయిపోతున్నాయి. సో ఎప్పుడైనా కంపేర్ చేసేటప్పుడు 4 వాల్యూస్ని అన్నిటికీ సేమ్ డినామినేటర్ ఉందనుకో ఈజీ కంపేర్ చేయడం. సో అప్పుడు ఇక్కడ 55 ఉంది కాబట్టి ఇక్కడ 50 ఎలా వస్తుంది? 11th మల్టిప్లై చేస్తే వచ్చేస్తుందా? అప్పుడు ఈ మూడిట్లో ఏది పెద్దది? ఇదేనా? ఈ మూడిట్లో లీస్ట్ ఇది. అందుకే సేమ్ డినామినేటర్ ఉన్నప్పుడు హైయెస్ట్ పవర్ ఏదైతే హైయెస్ట్ నెంబర్ ఏదైతే ఉంటుంది డినామినేటర్ అదే పెద్ద వాల్యూ. అప్పుడు ఈ రెండింటిలో చెక్ చేసుకొని సరిపోద్దిగా. ఈ రెండింటిలో అలా చెక్ చేద్దాం. దీన్ని సింప్లిఫై చేస్తే 25/55 అంటే 5 క్యాన్సిల్ చేస్తే 11 times 5 times ఎంత 0.4 వస్తుంది. 44 అంటే ఇంకా 5 మిగులుతుంది. మళ్ళీ 4 వస్తుందిగా, అంతేనా? 0.466 వస్తుంది అండ్ 5 వస్తుంది, 0.45 వస్తుంది ఈ వాల్యూ, అప్రాక్సిమేట్లీ 0.45. ఇదంతా ముందు 6తో డివైడ్ చేద్దాం. 6తో డివైడ్ చేస్తే 10 times, ఇదంతా 4 times 6 4 24. 45 అంటే మళ్ళీ ఎంత వస్తుంది? 6.7 వస్తుందా? 10తో కూడా డివైడ్ చేస్తే 4.7 వస్తుంది చూడండి, అది 0.47 వస్తుంది చూడండి, అంతేనా? 445 అంటే 6 ఎన్నిసార్లు పోతుంది? 7 times 42 కదా. సో 0.47 వస్తుంది. సో ఈ 4 పెద్ద నెంబర్ ఏది? ఇది లాస్ట్. అంటే Q4లో హైయెస్ట్ షేర్ ఉంది, Q1లో లీస్ట్ షేర్ ఉంది. సో 2 క్వశ్చన్స్ అయిపోయినాయి మనకి ఇక్కడ. సో క్వార్టర్ విత్ హైయెస్ట్ రెన్యూబుల్ పర్సెంటేజ్ షేర్ అంటే Q4 వచ్చేస్తుంది. లాస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ క్వార్టర్ విత్ లోయెస్ట్ రెన్యూబుల్ పవర్ అన్నాడు చూడండి షేర్. సో అదేమొస్తుంది? Q1 వచ్చేస్తుంది. సో ఒకేసారి 2 క్వశ్చన్స్ అయిపోయాయి. నెక్స్ట్ దాని ముందుకెళ్తే యాన్యువల్ గ్యాస్ టు మళ్ళీ ఆర్డర్లో వద్దాం. ఆర్డర్లో వస్తే 34 35 అయిపోయింది. నెక్స్ట్ 36 ఆఫ్టర్ న్యూ పాలసీ Q4 సోలార్ అవుట్పుట్ ఎంత? మీరు క్వశ్చన్ సరిగ్గా ప్రింట్ అవ్వాలి. డైరెక్ట్ స్టార్టింగ్లో ఇచ్చాడు ఏమి ఇచ్చాడు పారాలో. పాలసీ చేంజ్ అయిన తర్వాత న్యూ కార్బన్ పాలసీ ప్రకారం ఏంటంటే కార్బన్ కోల్ యొక్క అవుట్పుట్ని మనం కోల్ యొక్క క్వశ్చన్కి వెళ్దాం. పాలసీ కొత్త పాలసీ ఏం చేస్తుందంటే Q4 కోల్ 10% షిఫ్ట్ చేస్తుంది, తగ్గిస్తుంది. అంటే Q4లో 10% తగ్గితే కోలు మొత్తం కోల్ 2300, అందులో 10% అంటే 230గా. ఇందులో 10% అంటే ఎంత? 230. Q4లో 2300 10% అంటే 230. ఈ 230 గిగావాట్ అవర్స్ కోల్డ్ని తగ్గించేస్తున్నాడు. అయితే ఆ తర్వాత ఏం చేస్తున్నాడు? ఆ 230ని ఆ కోల్డ్ ఈ సోలార్కి విండ్కి ఈక్వల్గా షిఫ్ట్ చేస్తున్నాడు. అంటే అర్థం ఏంటి? ఈక్వల్ అంటే 115ఏనా? అంటే 115 ఏమో సోలార్ పెంచాలి. 115 పెంచితే ఎంత? 1150నా? అలానే విండ్ కూడా 115 పెంచితే 965 అవుతుంది. సో అయితే న్యూ సోలార్ అవుట్పుట్ ఎంత అని అడుగుతున్నాడు కొత్త పాలసీ ప్రకారం. ఎంత అవుతుంది అప్పుడు? 900కి 115 పెంచితే 900కి 115 పెంచితే 1015 కదా ఇది, అంతే, అదే ఆన్సర్. న్యూ పాలసీ ప్రకారం Q4 సోలార్ అవుట్పుట్ ఎంత? సో ఆన్సర్ ఎంత? 1015. ముందు 900 ఉంది, 115 పెంచాలి. ఆ 115 ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తుందంటే Q4 యొక్క కోల్ని 10% తగ్గిస్తున్నాడు. అది ఎంత తగ్గుతుంది 10% అంటే 130, అదే అర్థమైంది కదా, 230 తగ్గింది. ఆ 230ని ఈక్వల్గా షిఫ్ట్ చేస్తున్నాడు సోలార్కి విండ్కి. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ గ్యాస్ యాన్యువల్ గ్యాస్ టు హైడ్రో రేషియో అన్నాడు. అంటే గ్యాస్ 4 క్వార్టర్స్ నుంచి సమ్ చేస్తే యాన్యువల్ గ్యాస్ గ్యాస్ ప్రొడక్షన్ వచ్చేస్తుందిగా. అంటే 4 క్వార్టర్స్లో హైడ్రోని సమ్ చేయండి, హైడ్రో యొక్క పవర్ వచ్చేస్తుంది. 4 క్వార్టర్స్ సమ్ చేసుకోవడమే రెస్పెక్టివ్ కాలమ్స్. ఫస్ట్ క్వార్టర్ సెకండ్ క్వార్టర్లో గ్యాస్ సమ్ ఎంత? 1500 వస్తుందా? నెక్స్ట్ దానిలో 1500 ప్లస్ ఇక్కడ ఒక 2400 ప్లస్ 850 అంటే 3250, అంతేనా? నెక్స్ట్ హైడ్రో చూసుకుంటే 900 1000 1900, ఇక్కడ 1900 ప్లస్ ఇక్కడ ఎంత? 1900 ప్లస్ 1100 అంటే 2000. సో 2800 వస్తుంది. ఈ రేషియో ఎంత అడుగుతున్నాను, అంతే సింపుల్ క్వశ్చన్. రేషియో ఎంత వస్తుంది చూడండి, 5 టేబుల్ పోతుందిగా. 65 టైమ్స్ నెక్స్ట్ ఇక్కడ 5 టైమ్స్ నెక్స్ట్ 30 అంటే 69, 65/56 వస్తుంది. అంతేగా 65/76 రావాలి అంతే. మీకు అది కూడా క్యాలిక్యులేషన్ మిస్టేక్ అంతే. హైడ్రో చూసుకుంటే మీకు 5 టైమ్స్ హైడ్రో ఒకసారి క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయండి ఇంకొకసారి. హైడ్రో ఎంత 900, 1900 ఇంకా 1900 ప్లస్ ఇక్కడే 2000 వచ్చేస్తుంది కదా. కాదు 3800 వస్తుంది చూడండి. సో 5 టేబుల్ పోతే 7 టైమ్స్ 6 టైమ్స్, సో 65:76 అంతే. సెకండ్ ఆప్షన్ డైరెక్ట్ క్వశ్చన్. నెక్స్ట్ ఇంకేమైనా ఉన్నాయా? క్వార్టర్ విత్ లోయెస్ట్ అంతే అయిపోయింది. సో ఫస్ట్ పారా ఈజీగా ఇచ్చాడు కానీ సెకండ్ అదే ఫస్ట్ది కొంచెం కాంప్లికేట్ చేశాడు, సెకండ్ చాలా ఈజీగా వచ్చేసింది. ఓకే,
సో లెట్ us continue with our CLAT discussion. So we have finished English, current affairs and quant. So let us move to legal reasoning. So this passage talks about one nation policies happening in the country. Okay, like one nation, one election, one nation, one ration card, okay, and one nation, one tax. So there are multiple uniform policies happening across the country being brought by the government. So this passage, you can read it, it broadly discusses that. It says that there are different type of needs and government is bringing uniform policies so that all states will have similar policies. Okay. Okay, same whole passage talks about that only. Okay, one nation, one election. So for this passage you can say questions are not matching with the passage exactly, so you cannot find many answers in the passage. So first question, what is the underlying idea behind the one nation policies of the government? This is directly from the passage. Answer is B, to apply uniform solutions across India. To apply uniform solutions across India, replacing state specific variations. You can see it here. So you can see it here. So state specific, okay, to remove state specific, the word specifically state specific repeatedly used. So for this question the answer is B, to apply uniform solutions across India, replacing state specific variations. Next question, which of the following constitution amendment deals with empowerment of election commission to implement simultaneous elections? So simply put, one nation one election is coming as which amendment? It was introduced as 129th amendment bill. So it is bill, it is the number of the bill. When it becomes act, it will acquire different number. Not all bills will be passed. So when this was introduced in the parliament, it was introduced as 129. Which committee or report has discussed feasibility of simultaneous elections in India? So Law Commission more or less gives its opinion on all legal issues. So you can say answer is B. A high-level committee was constituted by the government to examine the policy of one nation, one election. So they are asking which committee is that. So it is a committee headed by our former president, Sri Ramnath Kovind. So this is the only legal reasoning essay in which you will not find many answers. The rest of the legal reasoning questions are easy. They are directly more or less from the passage. You can say this is the most difficult one. So as per the new GST reforms introduced in the September 2025, the structure of new GST rates are as follows. Again, out of passage, this is more like a current affairs question. Okay, legal current affairs. So you can say here it is 5, 18 and 40. Answer is D. So government has removed 18 and 28. So right now there are 5, 18%, 40% and there is also 0. That means no GST. The object of one nation one ration card scheme is ration card is for benefits, PDS benefits, okay, free ration. So government is giving that to migrant laborers because they are the ones moving, and if they have one ration card across the nation, it will be easy for them to get that rations anywhere in India. The target population is migrant laborers. So next passage is regarding preamble. Preamble. So in this passage, it was discussed that how something called objective resolution we have made for ourselves. Okay, something called objective resolution during our independence struggle or by our constituent assembly. Objective resolution was made where our ultimate goals were stated, and this objective resolution has kind of become our early preamble. Then things changed. Now India became finally independent. British government has announced that it is giving full independence to India. So when circumstances like this changed, so there was some need to make some additional changes to the preamble. So this passage discusses about how that changes were made. So ultimately the core theme is that there are some initial goals kind of preamble which inspired our constitution. Then preamble needs to be changed because political situation changed, and now we had a revised constitution. So after the constitution was made, again we have made another final revised the existing preamble. This is the question. So you can see this is the passage. In this passage, the contribution of our constitutional advisor was discussed. So you can see our constitutional advisor is Sir B.N. Rao. His contribution was discussed in the passage. Now based on this is the question. According to the passage, the relationship between constitution and the preamble can be best described as. So answer is C. If you read the passage, it says both the constitution and preamble were shaped in light of each other. So next is, what did the earliest draft of preamble emphasize? So this is directly from the question. So it says, so you can see here, the earliest draft of preamble was something formal and read, "We the people of India, seeking to promote the common good, do hereby to choose our chosen representative, enact, adopt and give to ourselves this constitution." So our existing preamble is bit complex. Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, we want to give this justice, liberty and fraternity, etc. So all of these elements were not there in the early preamble. This is the early preamble which talks about choosing our own representatives and promoting common good. So now this is the question. This is directly from the passage. You can say, what did the earliest draft of the preamble emphasize? It is the formal enactment of people through representatives. Not these words. These words are in the present preamble, not in the earlier draft. Next, which of the following is not enshrined in the preamble of the Constitution of India? So equality of status and opportunity, yes, it exists in the preamble. Liberty of thought, expression and belief and faith, yes, it exists. Fraternity, assuring dignity of the individual, it exists. This does not exist. It says justice, social, economic and political, not moral, ethical and legal. Okay. So it says justice, social, economic and political. So you can see existing preamble. So this is not present in the existing preamble. Which has been rightly arranged according to the preamble of the Constitution of India. So proper order they are seeing. So there are multiple key words in our preamble: sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic, etc. So what is order? Simply put, inverted alphabet order or reverse alphabet order. So option A is the answer. Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic. Okay. This, except this republic, this is the inverted alphabetic order. Okay. Preamble of the Constitution of India is finally based on objective resolution. It is directly discussed in the passage. So everywhere they have in the passage, they have discussed very thoroughly about the objective resolution. So this is a passage where you will find equal answers inside the passage and equal answers outside of the passage. What was the role of Sir B.N. Rao in the making of the Indian Constitution? He is the constitutional advisor. It is not exactly present in the passage, but it is a well-known polity fact. So next passage talks about good governance. So, good governance is not that something is put in the constitution. I am summarizing the passage. It says those who implement the constitution shall have good intentions, and this particular passage exclusively focus on council of ministers. Prime minister will choose council of ministers at the union level. Chief minister will choose council of ministers at the state level. So recently there have been some incidents in the country, like there was a minister in Tamil Nadu who was accused of a crime and went to jail, but he did not resign initially. Then the chief minister of Delhi was in jail and ruled the state from inside the jail for some months. So government has introduced a 130th constitutional amendment bill in the country. So this is a passage discussing in that light. Like in this passage, Supreme Court is saying, we recognize your right. Constitution gives that right to Prime Minister to choose his council of ministers. Constitution gives that right to Chief Minister of every state to choose his council of ministers. So it particularly talks about Prime Minister and Chief Minister and their right to choose their council of ministers. Right to choose the council of ministers. But at the same time, if someone is violating the constitution and you are not responding, or someone is committing grave crimes and your moral crimes and you are appointing them as council of minister, it is a violation of constitution. So we cannot allow that. In those cases, we may be compelled to intercept or involve in the issue. Okay, so this is the summary of the passage. You can read. Okay, click pause and read. So first question, according to the passage, court cannot decide what is good or bad governance, but it can indicate constitutional ethos, governance and remain functionaries of their duty. This is directly from the passage, I will show you. Okay. So, but court can always indicate. Okay. So this is these 3 lines is the source of the first question, directly from the passage. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar believed that the working of the constitution ultimately depended on. This is also directly from the passage. Okay, you can see, according to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, okay, good sense. We are left to the good sense of the rulers, Prime Minister and Chief Minister, etc. So, implementation ultimately depends on good sense and integrity of those administering the constitution. The court, while respecting the prerogative of the Prime Minister and Chief Minister to select ministers, emphasized that they should avoid appointing, extreme word, they must appoint, no, they should consult the Supreme Court, no, so this is the question actually, sorry, this is the answer. They should avoid appointing persons against whom criminal charges involving moral turpitude and framed. So this word also used in the passage, you can see. So avoiding any person in the council of ministers against whom charges have been framed by a criminal court in responses of offences involving moral turpitude. Okay, so they are committing to moral crimes worthy of moral contempt. Chief Minister and Prime Minister should avoid inducting them into council of ministers. So that is the point. What role does court assume as described in the passage regarding governance and appointments to the council of ministers? So it assumes the option is B. Okay, prophetic duty to remind key functionaries of their constitutional role. So this is also directly from the passage, reminding key functionaries. See. Okay, so remind the constitutional functionaries. So you can see the source of all of the questions in the passage. Till now, in this passage, nothing is from the outside. Who are the constitutional functionaries this passage primarily refers to? Prime Minister and Chief Minister. Okay, it is talking about Prime Minister who can induct the council of ministers at union level, Chief Minister who can induct council of ministers at the state level. Who according to the above passage shall not be appointed as a minister. Shall not be appointed as a minister. Against whom charges involving moral turpitude have been framed in a court of law. Again, same repetition from the passage. So another passage talking about recent Supreme Court judgment in state of Tamil Nadu versus Governor of Tamil Nadu. So after this particular case, more political developments have happened. Okay, President requested advice on this issue from Supreme Court using Article 143. So right now political developments are different, but you should answer according to the passes, given passes. Okay. So this talks about timelines imposed by Supreme Court of India. So when bill passed by State Assembly, it goes to the governor. Governor will have three options. One, he can accept or assent, or he can kind of reject, which says withholding the assent. That means he has to send it back to the assembly, or he can send it upwards to the president's consideration. There are some conditions. If those conditions are met, he can send the bill to the president's consideration. So this is the procedure given in the Article 200 of the Constitution. But what is happening in the reality? Governors are sitting on the bills for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So government of Tamil Nadu, Chief Minister and other people of state of Tamil Nadu went to the Supreme Court on this issue, saying accusing the governor of Tamil Nadu not passing the bills. So because there is too much delay, Supreme Court has imposed some guidelines saying that governor has to take a decision whether acceptance or withholding or sending to the president within 3 months. So there were some timelines were put by the Supreme Court on governor and even president. So this passage talks about that. What happens if governor does not take decisions within the timelines prescribed by the Supreme Court? It is deemed assent. That means governor sitting more than 3 months on a bill, assent is deemed. That means it is assumed that he has given consent. So this passage basically talks about that. Okay. So sitting on the bills beyond the allowed timeline is unconstitutional. Rejecting the bill by not accepting and keeping it indefinitely is called pocket veto. It is unconstitutional. So that's what Supreme Court has said. That is the summary of the passage. You can read. Okay. Legislative Assembly of State X passes a controversial bill. So a state passed a controversial bill. Governor neither assents it nor returns it. He is not accepting it. He is not returning it. What is the legal position? Okay. So as per the current court judgment, it is unconstitutional. Governor Y. A governor is withholding assent, returns the bill, and assembly reenacts it without changes. So in the passage itself, it's mentioned, if the governor withholds it and returns the bill, and if assembly reenacts the bill, in the constitution it is written, it is must for governor to accept. It is must for the governor. He will have the choice only in the first time. Second time he will not have the choice. Anyway, it is given in the passage itself. Even if you don't know it, it is given in the passage. So when the state assembly reenacts the bill, governor has no choice but to give assent. So this is question is directly from the passage. So Governor Hoy withholds assent, returns the bill, assembly has reenacted. Governor has no choice. Okay, no choice but to give assent this time. Governor holds a bill for 8 months without assent. So hold for 8 months beyond the timeline, unconstitutional. Based on Tamil Nadu, what can the state government do? So because it is unconstitutional, it can approach the court because governor is not complying with the Supreme Court judgment. In multiple delayed assent cases, what would the Supreme Court likely do following the Tamil Nadu president? So what happened in all those cases where assent is delayed beyond the timeline? So assent is deemed. It is assumed that it has been given. Okay, this is the precedent set by the Supreme Court in this particular case. So 89. A newly appointed governor publicly declares that he intends to use his discretion to permanently halt any legislation he deems inappropriate by simply not acting on the bill, citing an inherent gubernatorial power. How does this declaration align with the constitutional interpretation provided with the Supreme Court of India? So a governor is openly declaring that if I don't like any bill, I will not take any decision, I will just sit on it indefinitely. So he is openly declaring that. So now it is asked, now how does this align with the Supreme Court judgment? Okay. Answer, it is unconstitutional. He cannot sit. Supreme Court has put a clear guideline on him. Okay. Clear timeline on him. Answer is D. Okay. You can read the options. Answer is D. what are the 3 correct courses of action available to a governor when a bill is sent. So this is indirectly discussed in the passage. Anyway, if you know the article 200, it is already given. Okay. So what he can do, he can give assent, he can accept, or he can withhold assent. That means he can return, or he can reserve it for the consideration of the president. He can send it to the president of India. Okay. So this is, I will show you, it is indirectly written, not directly. So whole passage is talking about assent. Okay. Assent or returning. Assent, return. Okay. 1, 2. Return means withholding. Okay. Okay. So return or withholding, it is 1. Then again, so here it is said, because Supreme Court is now giving deemed assent. Now even if president gives any decision on these bills, later it is void. That means these bills can be considered by president later. That means that is an option. So you can indirectly, even if you don't know beforehand, you can say there are 3 options here. Okay. So last passage is regarding same-sex couples and the right to marriage. So this happened in reality also. So some activists have gone to the court and they have asked recognition of marriage of same sex. Right now in India, if you have to marry, you have to belong to either of the male or female sex. Then it comes with some rights like right to inheritance, okay, right to alimony. So there are some rights for partners in a marriage relationship. There are some rights for a children born out of a marriage. So marriage is linked with rights in India, but those rights are not available to same-sex couples or LGBTQIA couples. Okay. So when usually in common parlance we say same sex, but it is not exactly same sex. This is what we refer to: LGBTQIA+, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgenders, queer, intersex, asexual, plus means any other thing. Okay. So intersex, asexual. So this is the broad abbreviation for this acronym LGBTQIA+. So these people wanted right as normal straight people. Straight means you are born in either male or female and you are attracted to the opposite sex. So now matter went to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court has studied it. Supreme Court fundamentally declared that there is no such fundamental right called right to marry. Supreme Court has given that judgment. So because there is no right to marry, you cannot come to the court. Court can protect fundamental rights, but court cannot protect any right wanted by any citizen. So because there is no such thing called fundamental right to marry, we cannot grant you that right. You can go to politicians, you can go to union legislature, you can go to state legislature, you can ask them, sir, please give us a right to marry, please recognize our marriages, please allow us having the same rights as the normal couples. Okay, so this is the summary, but Supreme Court did not agree them. Supreme Court told them, you go for union legislature, parliament and state legislature. We cannot give you, there is no fundamental right to marry. Okay. So let us see the first question. In October 2023, two individuals, Ramesh and Samir, who identify as same-sex couple, sought legally solemnize their marriage. Based on that, they wanted legal recognition to their marriage. Okay. Based on the Supreme Court ruling, what is the current legal standing? It cannot be legally recognized because government is not recognizing. There is no law legally recognizing marriage of same-sex couples. So court cannot do anything. Okay. So their marriage is not legally recognized as the Supreme Court ruled that this is issue for Parliament to address. Okay. Answer is B. An advocate argues that Supreme Court should directly legislate on same-sex marriage because the right to choose a partner implies a fundamental right to marry. How would the judgment counter this? So an advocate is saying there is a fundamental right to marry because it is fundamental right and court should protect fundamental right. So court should bring a law on the same-sex marriage. So this is the argument. But right now what did court say? Court said there is no fundamental right to marry. There is no fundamental right to marry under the constitution and such policy can be made by parliament. Okay. Following the Supreme Court decision on an LGBTQ advocacy group in India aims to achieve legal recognition for same-sex marriage. So there is a advocacy group for this recognition of same-sex marriage. To which government bodies or bodies should this group primarily direct its lobbying efforts to secure the necessary legislation? So question is asking, if they want genuine recognition, to whom they should approach? They should approach Parliament and state legislature. That's what Supreme Court is saying. Had it been a fundamental right, please come to us, but it is not a fundamental right, so please go to Parliament and state legislature. While same-sex marriage is not legally recognized, which right was specifically affirmed by the court? While same-sex marriage is not legally recognized, which right was specifically affirmed by the court? So in the passage, it was clearly given that right of marriage, same-sex couples to cohabit privately. See, I will show you in the passage. So in the passage itself, so LGBTQ couples continue to face discrimination and have no social recognition of marriage, though the right to cohabit privately was affirmed. So even though Supreme Court has rejected right to marriage, but right to live together, cohabit privately was recognized. Okay? And passage is asking the question on that. Okay? Ramesh and Suresh want legal benefits like automatic inheritance and pension rights. What is the primary obstacle? So they want legal rights. They want rights that come with marriage, etc. Okay, automatic inheritance. Inheritance comes to the children from parents. So, but this cannot be granted as per the Supreme Court judgment. Okay. These rights are not available. They cannot receive, they must, no, this is not. So option is they cannot legally marry and they cannot get these benefits. Okay. The acronym LGBTQIA includes IA. So what is this IA? IA is intersex and asexual. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, asexual, plus means anything other than this. Okay. So next we have finished legal reasoning. Let us move to logical reasoning. So many students have faced problems in logical reasoning section. So this is a kind of difficult section, but all other sections can be said moderate. Okay. Even this, not all passages are difficult. You just have to get the idea. Okay. So this passage says, so there is a word. There is a word, and there is a task. What is the task? First, take the first half of the letters. Okay, first half of the letters. That means from here to here. This is the first half. This is the second half. It has 18 letters. First 9, second 9. Okay, take the first half. Reverse the order of the first half. Okay, first take the first half and reverse the order. So reverse the order. Start from A, C, O, R, T, C, E, L, E. Reverse the order of the first half. Okay. So see here. So this is the word. So I have divided into 2 and the order of the first word reverse. So you can see here A. Okay. So this E. Okay. Order is reversed. First half, second half. Okay. Again 18. Next, what is it saying? It is saying identify the last but one letter. Last but one letter. That means second one from the last of the original and place it at the very beginning. Place it at the very beginning. That means what is the last but one letter? This is the last letter. This is the last but one letter. Place it at the beginning. So take it from here and place it at the beginning. So rest all same. Just this one letter moved. Okay. Next. Finally, add the letter S at the end. Okay. Letter S at the end. So I have added for this a letter S at the end. So this is the final word we have. Okay. Initially it was 18. Now we have added a letter S. So total we have 19 words. 19 letters. First question. Which letter will be in the exactly in the middle? Which is in the middle? So total 19. So you have 9. You have 9 here. So this E is the middle one. Okay. E is the 9, 10th one, 9. Okay. Which one? Answer is E. how many vowels will be to the left of the middle letter? Vowels. What are vowels? A, I, E, O, U. Okay, these are vowels, remaining are consonants. So, how many vowels to the left side of the E? So, this is E. How many vowels? I see 1, 2, 3. Okay. Answer is 3. Which of the two vowels will be adjoining each other? So, there are two vowels adjacent to each other. Which are they? So, in this, so two vowels it is asking to find. Here are the two vowels which are adjacent to each other, IO. Okay. Answer is BIO. Which vowel will have a consonant to the left and a vowel to the right of it? Consonant to the left and vowel to the right of it. So here it is I. It has consonant to the left D, vowel to the right O. Okay, left consonant, right vowel I. Answer is I. Name the letter sandwiched between two vowels. Okay, so a letter sandwiched between two vowels. So you see C here sandwiched between two vowels A and O, 1, and here L is sandwiched between two vowels E and E. There are no more letters, so only C and L. So answer is C and L. Which letter is prefixed to the word after the first half is reversed? So we have reversed the first half. Then which was prefixed to the letter? Last but one is P. So it is the one prefixed to the letter. So answer is P. Okay. Answer is P. So moving on to the passage. So this is a reasoning passage, logical reasoning, like a theft has happened, some clues were given, different people's situation was given. So there are multiple suspects in a given condition. In a particular question, they will give a particular condition. Based on the particular condition, who can be the thief? That is a scenario given here. So read the passage. For this you have to read the passage. So there is a museum in which there is something was stolen. A sunburst medallion was stolen. Okay, and the theft has happened between 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Between this time theft was happened. Okay, and who are the suspects? There are three suspects. One is Anjali, second one is Bharat, third one is Chitra. These are the three suspects. And it shows that system was opened. When theft happened, that display before the theft was opened using a 5-digit code. In the entire company, only two people knows that code. One is Anjali, one of the suspects. Another one is the museum director, who is currently not in the country. He is abroad. He is out of the country. Because he is out of the country, he cannot be the one opening the code. So if we believe this 5-digit code, Anjali is the suspect. She knows the code. It is not saying she is the only one supposed to know the code. Then this Bharat, the second suspect, there is a proof that many people are saying that he is at the birthday party, at someone's birthday party from 8 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. and theft happened between 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. So before theft he went to the party, and after theft only he has come. Okay, so he is saying I am at a different place at that time. So he is coming with an alibi. Okay, he is giving another reason, proof that he is at a different place. Now the third suspect, Chitra, she is saying I have gone to work at a different place where I have entered 7 and I have came out only 11:45. So theft happened between 10 to 1 a.m. Okay, 10 to 1 a.m. She came out at 11:45. Okay, there is a CC camera proof showing that she came out only after 11:45 as she is claiming. So 11:45 means theft happened between these times. So by 11:45 to 1 AM it could have happened. But again it is saying even for the place she is working, for the place where she was shown in the CC camera, to come to the museum it takes 20 minutes. 20 minutes. That means even if she comes at 11:45, even if she is the thief, it will take 20 minutes to travel to the museum. That means she cannot reach between 12:05. 20 minutes plus 11:45. So if she is the thief, she could have stolen only after 12:05. 12:05 to 1 AM in between this time. Okay. So there is a guard. He is saying, sir, when I know you are saying theft must have happened between 10 to 1, but when I gone and seen at 10:30 checking, it was still there. Okay, it was still there. So there are some further investigations. So there is a silver button found out after an investigation in the location where theft has happened. Usually Anjali wears a cloth that have these kind of silver buttons. Okay, but at the same time some other person has heard that Bharat usually saying that I can open this kind of lock, that lock with this sunburst meridian. Okay, so that lock which opens that, he says that I know that I have that knowledge which I can open remotely from far away. I can open this. I don't have to come to that physical location to open it. I know how to open it remotely from far away. That means even if it has a different place like a party, he can open it from here. Okay, but someone has to come to steal it. Okay. So he does not need the code. So if this Bharat know how to open the lock without the code. Code only Anjali and the museum director knows. Okay. So now this is the background. Now we have to see who are suspects and who are not. Okay. Question says, based on only on the fact that a 5-digit code was used to open the display case. If this is the only fact we are considered, not other reasons. Okay. Who is the only possible suspect? Like other reasons, like Bharat can open from remote without the code. So if you are not considering all that other things, you are considering that only 5-digit code was entered. Who is the suspect? Obviously only Anjali and director knows, but director is not in the country, so Anjali is the only suspect. Next. The theft occurred between 10 PM and 1 AM, but the night guard saw the medallion at 10:30. Given Chitra's alibi, that means Chitra is saying I have went to some work at 7 PM and I have came out only 11:45. Okay, what is the earliest time she could have reached the museum? If Chitra is the thief, she came out 11:45, but it takes 20 minutes for her to reach the location, so she cannot reach the museum between 12:05. So if she wants to steal, she can steal only after 12:05. Okay. Deduction and contradictory evidence. Okay. If the theft was committed by Bharat, so let's assume Bharat is the thief, which established fact must be incorrect. Okay. So Bharat was at a remote location from 8 PM to 1:30, but he can open that lock remotely. Okay, so if he is the thief, he does not need to be physically come. So security logs indicating the code was used might be the wrong. If he is the thief, he does not need the code. Okay, so among all the given details, if Bharat is the thief, this is unnecessary. Whether code enters or not, he can steal it. Okay. Now this answer is not D, answer is B. Okay. Why is the silver button incriminating and for which suspect? So if we are talking about silver button, in the passage itself it is saying Anjali is the only one who wears those silver buttons. Okay. Detective argument. Since Bharat has confirmed alibi covering the entire theft window, he cannot be the thief. So, which is the one in accordance with this? Like, if we are saying this is the argument, Bharat has an alibi. He is from 8 to 1:30. He is at a different place. Okay, if we are taking this as the acceptance for he is not thief, what is the underlying argument? The answer is B. If an event requires presence, confirmed absence proves innocence. This is the meaning of this. This is another kind of rephrasing of this. Okay. Drawing the strongest conclusion. Considering the code use, the button and the alibi's most reasonable inference. So, considering the code use, only Anjali and director knows the code. Director is not in the country. So, considering the code use, you can say Anjali is the prime suspect. Then buttons, again Anjali is the one who hears those kind of buttons, silver buttons. Okay. Alibis, other people have alibis. Anjali does not have proper alibi. Okay. So, Anjali is the most likely suspect in this. What condition is necessary for Chitra to have stolen the medallion? So, if Chitra is the thief, what is the condition? What condition is necessary for Chitra to have stolen the medallion? She must know the 5-digit code, because Chitra does not have this knowledge like Bharat to open it from remotely. There is a 5-digit code mandating the opening of the lock. So, if Chitra is the one ultimately stolen, somehow she should know the 5-digit code. Okay. I'm sorry. This is a different explanation, not this. Okay. Here the answer is A. Okay. She must know the 5-digit code. So, there is one last passage is pending for the logical reasoning section. Please wait for it.
Last question of logical reasoning. ప్యాసేజ్ ఇచ్చాడు మనకి. ప్యాసేజ్ నుంచి మనం గనక ఫామ్ చేసుకుంటే ఆ టేబుల్, ఆ 7 క్వశ్చన్స్ ఫాస్ట్ అంటే విత్ ఇన్ సెకండ్స్లో అయిపోతాయి. ఇచ్చిన ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ చూడండి. 4 టీమ్స్ ఇచ్చాడు. రెడ్, బ్లూ, గ్రీన్ అండ్ yellow ఆర్ కాంపిటింగ్ ఇన్ ద ఫైనల్ 4 rounds ఆఫ్ ఇంటర్ స్కూల్ సైన్స్ ఒలింపియాడ్. ఓకే. లేబుల్డ్ యాజ్ రౌండ్ ఏ, రౌండ్ బి, రౌండ్ సి, రౌండ్ డి. 4 rounds ఉన్నాయి. ఈ 4 roundsలో ఈ 4 టీమ్స్ పార్టిసిపేట్ అవుతున్నాయి. ఓకే. ఈచ్ రౌండ్ కన్సిస్ట్ ఆఫ్ 1 match బిట్వీన్ 2 teams. ఓకే. అంటే 4 rounds ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి ఒక్కొక్క రౌండ్లో ఒక్కొక్క మ్యాచ్ జరుగుతుంది. అండ్ ఎవ్రీ టీమ్ ప్లేస్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ 2 matches. ఓకే. ప్రతి టీమ్ కూడా 2 matches ఆడుతుంది. ఇది ఇచ్చిన ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. ఇంకా నో టీమ్ ప్లేస్ ద సేమ్ అపోనెంట్ మోర్ దాన్ వన్స్. ఓకే. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ రెడ్, గ్రీన్ ఆడే అనుకోండి. మళ్ళీ రెడ్, గ్రీన్ ఇంకొకసారి గ్రీన్తో ఇంకొక మ్యాచ్ ఆడదు, ఒక మ్యాచ్ ఆడుతుంది. తర్వాత ప్రతి రౌండ్లో కూడా ఒక మ్యాచ్ జరుగుతుంది. ఇది ఇచ్చిన ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. తర్వాత ప్రతి టీమ్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్గా 2 matches ఆడుతుంది. సో ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఇది, ఈ మొత్తం ప్యాసేజ్ ఇది మీనింగ్. తర్వాత ఫైనల్ షెడ్యూల్ మస్ట్ అడ్హియర్ టు ద ఫాలోయింగ్ రూల్స్. కొన్ని రూల్స్ ఇచ్చాడు. ఏంటి అవి రూల్స్? 5 rules ఇచ్చాడు మొత్తం. కన్సిక్యూటివ్ ప్లే అంటున్నాడు. రూల్ 1 ఏంటంటే అది గ్రీన్ టీమ్ మస్ట్ ప్లే దే 2 matches ఇన్ కన్సిక్యూటివ్ రౌండ్స్. ఓకే. వరుసగా ఆడేయాలి. 2 consecutive matches ఆడేయాలి గ్రీన్ టీమ్. ఓకే. అది ఏ రౌండ్స్ అయినా ఉండొచ్చు, బట్ ఏ రౌండ్స్ అయినా కానీ వరుసగా ఆడాలి. నెక్స్ట్ రూల్ 2 ఏంటి? ఫిక్స్డ్ అపియరెన్స్. yellow టీమ్ మస్ట్ ప్లే ఇన్ రౌండ్ బి. లక్కీగా క్లియర్గా ఇచ్చాడు. yellow టీమ్ మస్ట్ ప్లే ఇన్ రౌండ్ బి. ఓకే. ఓకే ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ నుంచి మనం డయాగ్రామ్ రాసుకుందాం. డయాగ్రామ్ రాసుకుంటే ఫస్ట్ మనకి రౌండ్ ఏ, మనకి మొత్తం రౌండ్ ఏ, రౌండ్ బి, రౌండ్ సి, రౌండ్ డి ఉన్నాయి. ఇందులో ఏబిసిడి ఇలా తీసుకుందామా, లేదంటే ఇలా తీసుకుందాం. ఓకే. రౌండ్ ఏ, రౌండ్ బి, రౌండ్ సి, రౌండ్ డి, 4 rounds ఉన్నాయి. ఓకే. ఫస్ట్ ఏమి ఇచ్చాడు రూల్ చూడండి. yellow టీమ్ మస్ట్ ప్లే ఇన్ రౌండ్ బి. ఈ క్లియర్ ఇచ్చాడు. yellow టీమ్ మస్ట్ ప్లే ఇన్ రౌండ్ బి. ఓకే. కొన్ని కేసెస్ తీసుకుందాం. ఒక కేసు అవ్వకపోవచ్చు, అందుకు 2 cases తీసుకుందాం. నెక్స్ట్ సెకండ్ కేసు కూడా నేను రౌండ్ బిలో yellow టీమ్ ఫిక్స్ చేస్తున్నాను. నెక్స్ట్ తర్వాత గ్రీన్ టీమ్ మస్ట్ ప్లే దే 2 matches కన్సిక్యూటివ్ రౌండ్స్. అది మళ్ళీ యూజ్ చేసుకుందాం. ఇంకా పూర్తిగా ఒకసారి చదువుదాం. రెడ్ టీమ్ మస్ట్ ప్లే అగైన్స్ట్ బ్లూ టీమ్ ఇన్ ఏ రౌండ్ దట్ ఈస్ ఇమీడియట్లీ బిఫోర్ ఏ రౌండ్ ఇన్ విచ్ neither ఆర్ నార్ బి ప్లేయింగ్. స్టేట్మెంట్ మీనింగ్ ఏంటంటే ఈ ఆర్బి రెండు ప్లే అవ్వని రౌండ్ ఉంటుంది కదా, రెండు ఆడట్లా రౌండ్. ఆ రౌండ్కి ఇమ్మీడియట్గా బిఫోర్గా రెడ్ బ్లూ మ్యాచ్ జరుగుతుంది. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ రూల్ 4 టైమింగ్ అంటున్నాడు. ఇది బ్లూ టీమ్ ఫస్ట్ మ్యాచ్ మస్ట్ అక్కర్ ఇన్ ఎర్లీ రౌండ్ దట్ ఈస్ దాన్ ద గ్రీన్ టీమ్ ఫస్ట్ మ్యాచ్. ఓకే, గ్రీన్ టీము ఆడే ఫస్ట్ మ్యాచ్ కంటే కూడా బ్లూ టీమ్ యొక్క ఫస్ట్ మ్యాచ్ ముందు జరగాలంట. నెక్స్ట్ లాస్ట్ ఇది ద టీమ్ దట్ ప్లేస్ అగెన్స్ట్ ద రెడ్ టీమ్ ఇన్ ద రౌండ్ దట్ ఈస్ నాట్ అగెన్స్ట్ ద బ్లూ టీమ్ ఈస్ ద సేమ్ టీమ్ దట్ ప్లేస్. ఓకే, రౌండింగ్. ఓకే, ఒక్కొక్క ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ చూసుకుంటే వైని మనం ప్లేస్ చేస్తాం. తర్వాత ఏది యూజ్ చేసుకుంటే బెటర్, గ్రీన్ టీమ్ రెండు వరుస మ్యాచ్లు ఆడాలంటున్నాడు కాబట్టి ఆ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ యూజ్ చేద్దాం. గ్రీన్ టీమ్ 2 వరుసగా మ్యాచ్లు ఆడాలంటే ఎక్కడెక్కడ ఆడుండొచ్చు? సో ఆబ్వియస్లీ ఈ 2 అయ్యి ఉండొచ్చు. చాలా కేసెస్ వస్తున్నాయి. ఇంకో ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ వెళ్ళిపోతున్నా చూడండి. రెడ్ టీమ్ ఎప్పుడు ఆడాలంట బ్లూ టీమ్తో ఇన్ ఏ రౌండ్ దట్ ఈస్ ఇమ్మీడియట్లీ బిఫోర్ ఈ రౌండ్. ఓకే, ఇన్ విచ్ నెయిదర్ ఆర్ నార్ బీ ప్లేయింగ్. అంటే ఈ రెండు ఆడని రౌండ్ ఏదో ఉంటుంది కదా, ఆ రౌండ్ కంటే ముందు రెడ్ టీమ్ ప్లే అవ్వాలంట. అంటే ఎక్కడ ఉండొచ్చు? ఇక్కడ ఆబ్వియస్లీ రెడ్ బ్లూ 2 రాకుండా ఉండాలి. ఓకే, గ్రీన్ కేసెస్ రాసుకుంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ గ్రీన్ కేసెస్ ఏమై ఉండొచ్చు? ఇంకో కేసు తీసుకుందాం. ఇక్కడ తీసుకుందాం. ఈసారి గ్రీన్ వై ఇక్కడ ప్లేస్ చేస్తున్నాం. 3 కేసెస్ తీసుకున్నా. గ్రీన్కి ఏమేమి పాసిబిలిటీస్ ఉన్నాయి? వరుసగా పెట్టాలి కదా, అంటే ఈ 2 ఛాన్సెస్ అయితే లేవుగా. ఛాన్స్ ఉంది, ఇక్కడ గ్రీన్ రావచ్చు. తర్వాత ఇంకో స్టేట్మెంట్ అన్నాడు చూడండి, గ్రీన్ టీమ్ కంటే ముందు ఏ మ్యాచ్ జరగాలి? బ్లూ టీమ్ ఆడే మ్యాచ్ జరగాలంటున్నాడు. అంటే ఖచ్చితంగా ఏం చెప్పేయచ్చు మనం, గ్రీన్ ఈ పొజిషన్ రాదనే అర్థం. గ్రీన్ ఈ పొజిషన్ రాదు. ఇంకా నెక్స్ట్ ఇక్కడ రావచ్చు, ఇక్కడ జీ వచ్చి ఇక్కడ జీ రావచ్చు, లేదా ఈ 2 కన్సిక్యూటివ్ జీజీ సిడీలో రావచ్చు, లేదా బీసీలో రావచ్చు. ఏబీలో ఎందుకు రాదు అంటే గ్రీన్ టీమ్ కంటే ముందే బ్లూ మ్యాచ్ జరిగిపోవాలి. అందుకు ఈ 2 కేసులు తీసుకున్నాం. నెక్స్ట్ గ్రీన్ ఆడే మ్యాచ్ కంటే ముందే బ్లూ మ్యాచ్ జరిగిపోవాలంటున్నాడు కాబట్టి బ్లూ ఖచ్చితంగా ఇక్కడ ఆడాలా ఈ కేసు ప్రకారం. తర్వాత ఇక్కడ ఆడి ఉండొచ్చు బ్లూ. తర్వాత ఇంకొక రూల్ ఇచ్చాడు చూడండి. ఇంకో రూల్ ఏమి ఇచ్చాడు? రెడ్ టీమ్ మస్ట్ ప్లే అగెన్స్ట్ బ్లూ టీమ్. చూడండి, బ్లూ టీమ్ ఫస్ట్ మ్యాచ్ ఏమో గ్రీన్ టీమ్ కంటే ముందే జరగాలి. అలానే బ్లూ టీము రెడ్ టీమ్ ఎప్పుడు మ్యాచ్ ఆడతాయి? దాని ముందు రౌండ్, దానికంటే తర్వాత రౌండ్, బిఫోర్ ఈ రౌండ్. ఏ రౌండ్ కంటే ముందు ఆడతాయి? ఆ రౌండ్లో నెయిదర్ రెడ్ నార్ బీ ప్లేయింగ్. ఓకే, క్లియర్గా అర్థమైపోతుంది చూడండి ఇక్కడ ఈ 2 కేసెస్లో. సో ఆబ్వియస్లీ జీవై కదా, ఈ రౌండ్లో రెడ్ బ్లూ 2 ఆడట్లా. అంటే ఖచ్చితంగా దీని ముందు టీంలోనే కానీ దీని ముందు రౌండ్లోనే కానీ రెడ్ బ్లూ ప్లే అవుతాయి. నెక్స్ట్ ఇక్కడ రెడ్ బ్లూ అంటే ఇక్కడ కూడా రెడ్ బ్లూ ఇక్కడే రావాలి, వేరే ఆప్షన్ లేదు. ఇక్కడ ఆల్రెడీ వై ఉంది కదా, జీ కంటే ముందే బి యొక్క ఫస్ట్ మ్యాచ్ జరగాలి. సో ఈ 2 కేసెస్ ఇంకా స్టిల్ పాసిబులే, ఇలానే ఉన్నాయి. ఇంకా ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్కి వెళ్తే ఇంకేమి ఇచ్చాడు ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్? బ్లూ టీమ్ ఫస్ట్ మ్యాచ్ అయిపోయింది, ఎల్లో టీమ్ అయిపోయింది, గ్రీన్ టీమ్ ఇది యూజ్ చేస్తాం, ఇది యూజ్ చేస్తాం. ఇంకా లాస్ట్ ఒక్కటి మిగిలింది. ఏంటంటే ఇది రెడ్ టీమ్ మ్యాచ్ ఆడాలి అగెన్స్ట్ దట్ ఈస్ నాట్ అగెన్స్ట్ బ్లూ టీమ్ ఈజ్ ద సేమ్ టీమ్ దట్ ప్లేస్ ఇన్ రౌండ్ డి. రౌండ్ డీలో ఆడే టీం ఏంటంటే ఏ టీం అయితే నీకు బ్లూ టీమ్తో అగెన్స్ట్గా ఆడదో ఆ టీంతో నీకు రెడ్ టీమ్ డి టీంలో ఆడుతుంది. అంటే ఏ మీనింగ్ ఏమొస్తుంది చూడండి, అది కొంచెం డిఫికల్ట్గా ఉంది ఆ స్టేట్మెంట్. దాని మీనింగ్ ఏంటంటే బ్లూ టీం ఒక్క మ్యాచే ఆడింది, ఇంకో మ్యాచ్ ఆడుతుందిగా, ఆ మ్యాచ్ దేంతో ఆడొచ్చు? ఇక్కడేమో ఎల్లోతో ఆడడానికి లేదు, ఖచ్చితంగా గ్రీన్తో ఆడాల్సిందే. సో ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ గ్రీన్తో ఆడింది అనుకుందాం. ఇక్కడ ఇంకో కేసు తీసుకోవచ్చు. లేదంటే లాస్ట్ రౌండ్లో రెడ్ దేంతో ఆడుతుంది? బ్లూ టీం ఏ మ్యాచ్తో అయితే ఆడలేదు, బ్లూ టీము లాస్ట్ మ్యాచ్ రెడ్ ఏ టీంతో ఆడుతుంది అంటే బ్లూ టీం అపోనెంట్ ఏంటి ఇక్కడ? గ్రీన్ కదా. మరి బ్లూ టీం ఏ టీంతో ఆడలేదు మ్యాచ్, ఎల్లోతోనేగా, ఆ ఎల్లో టీంతో ఆడుతుంది. అది మీనింగ్. సరిపోయింది, అన్ని స్టేట్మెంట్స్ సరిపోయినాయి ఇక్కడ ఈ కేసులో. సో ఇంక ఈ కేసు చూడాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు, ఎందుకంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ రెడ్ టీం ఆడాలి, ఇది సరిపోయింది, 4 స్టేట్మెంట్స్ సరిపోయినాయి ఇంకా. సో ఇది కన్సిడర్ చేయాల్సిన అవసరం. సో నెక్స్ట్ ఇచ్చిన క్వశ్చన్స్కి వెళ్ళిపోతే ప్రతి క్వశ్చన్ అయిపోతే చూడండి ఈజీ. వన్స్ ఈ టేబుల్ ఫామ్ చేయడం వరకే డిఫికల్టీ క్వశ్చన్. ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ ఏమంటున్నాడు? డిటర్మైనింగ్ ద గ్రీన్ టీమ్స్ ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ ఇదేనా? డిటర్మైన్ ద గ్రీన్ టీమ్స్ షెడ్యూల్ అంటున్నాడు. ఓకే, కన్సిడరింగ్ రూల్స్ 1 and 2 విచ్ ఆర్ ది ఫాలోయింగ్ పేర్స్ ఆఫ్ రౌండ్స్ కంటైన్స్ ద గ్రీన్ టీమ్స్ గ్రీన్ టీమ్స్ 2 మ్యాచెస్. గ్రీన్ టీమ్ ఎక్కడెక్కడ మ్యాచ్లు ఆడుతుంది? బీసీ రౌండ్స్లో కదా. సో ఆన్సర్ అంతా ఆప్షన్ బి అంతే. నెక్స్ట్ అప్లయింగ్ పొజిషనల్ కాన్స్టెంట్. ఓకే, బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ఆల్ ద రూల్స్ పర్టికులర్లీ రూల్ 3 విచ్ ఆర్ ది ఫాలోయింగ్ మ్యాచెస్ మస్ట్ బి షెడ్యూల్డ్ ఫర్ రౌండ్ ఏ. ఓకే, రౌండ్ ఏ మ్యాచ్ షెడ్యూల్ చేయాలి మనం? బ్లూకి రెడ్కి మధ్య సెటిల్ చేయాలి. ఆప్షన్ ఏంటి? బ్లూకి రెడ్ అంటే ఆప్షన్ సి. నెక్స్ట్ హూ ఈస్ ద బ్లూ టీమ్స్ ఫస్ట్ అపోనెంట్ ఇన్ ద టోర్నమెంట్? ఫస్ట్ టైం వచ్చింది రెడ్డే కదా, బ్లూ ఆర్ రెడ్ కదా, సో ఆన్సర్ అంతా రెడ్. నెక్స్ట్ ఫైండింగ్ ద మ్యాచ్ ఇన్ రౌండ్ సి. రౌండ్ సిలో ఏ మ్యాచ్ ఆడుతున్నాం మనం? రౌండ్ సిలో గ్రీను బ్లూ ఆప్షన్ బి. నెక్స్ట్ ఐడెంటిఫై ద టీమ్ ఎక్స్క్లూడెడ్ ఫ్రమ్ ఎ రౌండ్. విచ్ పెయిర్ ఆఫ్ రౌండ్స్ కంటైన్స్ మ్యాచెస్ వేర్ ద ఎల్లో టీమ్ డస్ నాట్ పార్టిసిపేట్? ఓకే, ఎల్లో టీమ్ ఆడని రౌండ్స్ ఏంటని అడుగుతున్నాడు. టేబుల్కి వెళ్ళిపోతే ఎక్కడ ఎల్లో టీమ్ ఆడినట్టు రౌండ్స్ ఏంటి? ఏ అండ్ సి. అదేనా చూడండి, ఏ అండ్ సి. అయిపోయిందా? ఎల్లో టీమ్ డస్ నాట్, ఏ అండ్ సి సరిపోయింది చూడండి. ఆప్షన్ ఏ. ఇది ఈ క్వశ్చన్ చూసామా? వాట్ ఈస్ ద మ్యాచ్ షెడ్యూల్డ్ ఫర్ రౌండ్ సి? రౌండ్ సిలో ఏ మ్యాచ్? ఇది అయిపోయింది కదా, రౌండ్ సిలో గ్రీన్ అండ్ బ్లూ అయిపోయింది. ఆప్షన్ బి ఇది కూడా అయిపోయింది. నెక్స్ట్ క్వశ్చన్, విచ్ టీమ్ డస్ ద ఎల్లో టీమ్ నాట్ ప్లే అగెన్స్ట్ ఓవర్ ద కోర్స్ ఆఫ్ 4 rounds? ఓకే, ఎల్లో టీము ఏ టీంతో మ్యాచ్ ఆడలేదని అడుగుతున్నాడు. ఏ టీంతో మ్యాచ్ ఆడలా? ఆబ్వియస్లీ 2 టీమ్స్తో కదా ఆడింది. ఏంటి టీమ్స్? గ్రీన్తో ఆడింది, రెడ్తో ఆడింది, బ్లూతో అయితే ఆడలేదుగా. సో ఆన్సర్ అంతా బ్లూ. సో ఆన్సర్ బ్లూ. ఓకే, ఆప్షన్ బి. నెక్స్ట్ లాస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్, లాస్ట్ బట్ వన్ క్వశ్చన్. ఇఫ్ ద మ్యాచ్ ఇన్ రౌండ్ డి వాజ్ బ్లూ వర్సెస్ ఎల్లో, విచ్ ఆఫ్ ది ఒరిజినల్ రూల్స్ వుడ్ బి వైలేటెడ్ బై ది షెడ్యూల్ చేంజ్? అంటే లాస్ట్ రౌండ్లో మ్యాచ్ని మనకేమొచ్చిందో దాన్ని రెడ్ వర్సెస్ ఎల్లో వచ్చినట్టుంది, దాన్ని ఏం చేస్తున్నాడంటే బ్లూ వర్సెస్ ఎల్లో మారుస్తున్నాడు. అప్పుడు ఏ రూల్ కింద ఇచ్చిన ఏ రూల్ మారట్లేదు అంటున్నాడు. ఇది బ్లూ కన్సిక్యూటివ్ రూల్ 1, 1, 3, 4, 5 ఇచ్చాడు చూడండి ఆప్షన్స్. క్వశ్చన్లోకి వెళ్దాం మళ్ళీ. 1, 3, 4, 5 ఇచ్చిన ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్కి వెళ్తే ఈ ప్లేస్ మారుస్తున్నాడు, దీన్ని మారుస్తున్నాడు, సమ్ బ్లూ వర్సెస్ ఎల్లో మారుస్తున్నాడు. అప్పుడు ఇచ్చిన రూల్స్ చూడండి. రూల్స్ ఏంటి? ఫస్ట్ రూల్, గ్రీన్ టీమ్ కన్సిక్యూటివ్ ప్లే. ఇది మార్చడం వల్ల గ్రీన్ టీమ్ ఆడే మ్యాచెస్లో ఏమైనా మారుతున్నాయా అంటే ఫస్ట్ రూల్ ఏం వైలేట్ అవ్వట్లేదుగా. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ ఈ సెకండ్ చూస్తే ఎల్లో టీమ్ మస్ట్ ప్లే ఇన్ రౌండ్ బి, అది కూడా ఏం మారట్లేదుగా. ఎల్లో టీమ్ ప్లేస్ కూడా డిస్టర్బ్ అవ్వట్లా. ఇంకేమున్నాయి చూడండి. రౌండ్ పొజిషనల్ కాన్స్టెంట్. రూల్ 3 చూసుకుంటే రెడ్ టీమ్ బ్లూ టీమ్తో ఆడే మ్యాచ్ ఫస్ట్ రౌండ్ కూడా మారట్లా, ఎందుకంటే లాస్ట్ పొజిషన్ కదా మనం మారుస్తున్నాం. తర్వాత టైమింగ్ రూల్ 4 కూడా ఏం మారట్లేదు చూడండి. బ్లూ టీమ్ ఫస్ట్ మ్యాచ్ గ్రీన్ టీమ్ కంటే ముందే జరుగుతుంది, గ్రీన్ టీమ్ ముందే జరుగుతుంది. లాస్ట్ ఇంకా రూల్ 5 చూసుకుంటే రూల్ 5 ఏం మారుతుంది చూడండి. రెడ్ టీమ్ ఏ టీంతో మ్యాచ్ ఆడాలి? రెడ్ టీము బ్లూ టీమ్తో ఆడాలి. ఒకసారి టేబుల్కి వెళ్తే ఇక్కడ ఈ ప్లేస్ని మార్చేసినప్పుడు బ్లూ వర్సెస్ ఎల్లో పెడుతున్నాం కదా, అప్పుడు బ్లూ ఎన్ని మ్యాచ్లు ఆడుతున్నట్టు? 3 మ్యాచ్లు ఆడుతున్నట్ట. 3 మ్యాచ్ల. సో అపోనెంట్ లింక్ మారిపోతుందిగా. అపోనెంట్ మనకి 2 కదా పాసిబుల్. సో అందుకే ఏ రూల్ వైలేట్ అవుతున్నట్టు మనకి మొత్తం క్వశ్చన్లో? అంతే. లాస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్, బ్లూ వర్సెస్ ఎల్లో మార్చినప్పుడు విచ్ ఆఫ్ ది ఫాలోయింగ్ రూల్స్ విల్ బి వైలేటెడ్? కన్సిక్యూటివ్ ప్లే డిస్టర్బ్ అవ్వట్లా, పొజిషనల్ కాన్స్టెంట్ అంటే రెడ్ బ్లూ ఫస్ట్ ఆడ అది డిస్టర్బ్ అవ్వట్లా, టైమింగ్ ఇది కూడా డిస్టర్బ్ అవ్వట్లా, అపోనెంట్ లింక్ డిస్టర్బ్ అవుతుంది. ఆ బ్లూకి అప్పుడు నీకు 3 మ్యాచ్లు వచ్చేస్తుంది, బట్ ఆడాల్సింది 2 మ్యాచ్లే. అందుకు ఆన్సర్ అంతా రూల్ ఆప్షన్ డి. ఓకే.